Well, good Wednesday morning to everyone. Hope you are doing well wherever you are, whatever you happen to be doing at the time. We are going to play a doubleheader. This was a regularly scheduled doubleheader. Well, not regularly scheduled. It was scheduled because on May 30th the game was rained out. So it is an organic doubleheader between the Minnesota Twins and the Detroit Tigers from Tiger Stadium. In the real game, in this game one, Minnesota won it 9-3. That's what the little numbers down here mean. In fact, Minnesota swept this doubleheader in real world. So we'll see what happens this time around. For whatever reason, I looked it up. Lou Whitaker is not in either of the starting lineups, nor did he appear in either game of the doubleheader in real world. So I'm assuming there's something physically wrong with him or something. So I'm going to try to follow that, and I've removed Lou Whitaker from consideration in this doubleheader. He will not appear in this doubleheader. Trying to keep it, as good as I can with the actual usage. So you won't see Lou Whitaker. There's a lot of pinch hitting in the real world doubleheader, but Lou Whitaker never appeared. So I'm going to take that to mean that he had something wrong with him where he couldn't even pinch hit. So we're going to remove him from that, and the Tigers will have to deal with the bench guys they have on the roster. Hello, Mr. Madoff. Good to see you. This is game one of the doubleheader. It's going to be Jeff Robinson, a right-hander, against Bert Blyleven, a right-hander for the Twins. Tigers enter the game 25-20. Minnesota enters the game 22-25. Interesting lineup by Sparky Anderson. They have Dave Bergman lead off. I've never seen him lead off before, but he led off in this game. And also, this will be I believe, the maiden voyage for seeing Jim Whalewander. Whalewander is at second base in this game. So they have whale watching in the early mornings in the ocean area or beach area. So now we got whale wanders. So we're going to have Blyleven against Jeff Robinson. So we'll take a look first at Jeff Robinson. On the real season, 9-6 with a 5.37 ERA. On the replay, he is 2-1, and as I bring up the Strat-O-Matic computer, he has an ERA of 4.61, 41 innings pitched, 44 hits, 13 walks, 31 strikeouts. He's split time between starting and relieving, but with this doubleheader, I'm guessing that's going to be one of his starts where he's kind of like a spot starter, so to speak. So he has a wild pitch rating of 6, a balk rating of 9, and the pitcher-catcher hold with the catcher is a 0. He is a -1, but Matt Noakes is a +1. For Blyleven, he has a +4 hold rating. Blyleven's hold rating is a +2, but Mark Salas is also a +2, which makes him a +4. His wild pitch is a 10. His balk is a 0. Tiger Stadium, not very good for singles, 2 and 1 respectively, but home runs, 14 for lefties, 11 for righties. So the ball could be flying out of Tiger Stadium in this one, in this doubleheader. Got our dice all here ready to go, and of course I can't do a Strat-O-Matic 1987 game without having the coffee to go with it. In between games of the doubleheader, we'll have a couple-minute break while I refresh coffee and use the restroom and then come back. So it'll be 2 or 3 minutes tops, I would say, because the score sheet's already ready. I'll go just flip this one over and it's already ready to go. So administratively, it won't take that long. It's just other things I might need to do. All right, so we're ready to go. Al Newman is going to lead off. He is playing second base in this one. Al Newman hitting .268 on the replay. No homers, 8 driven in. He hit .221 real world. And we start off with a 1-7. That's a ground ball to third. And that will be an easy play for Tom Brookins. And we are underway from Detroit. Here is Randy Bush, right fielder. Bush is hitting .258. 2 homers, 12 driven in. He hit .253 real world. 6'5", left-hander, is going to be a ground ball to second, and Whalewander will make the play, and that's 2 down. Hello, Chuck. So 2 down, and that brings up Kirby Puckett. Puckett on the replay hitting .320, 7 homers, 23 driven in. Hit .332 real world. 5-6, and that's a strikeout for Robinson. So 1-2-3 inning for Jeff Robinson. And the Twins go quietly. As we go to the bottom of the first, it's Minnesota nothing and Detroit coming to bat. And Bert Blyleven, real world, was 15-12 with a 4.01 earned run average. And on the replay, he is 5-4 with a 5.26 earned run average. 77 innings pitched, 68 hits, 37 walks, and 56 strikeouts. And like I said, for whatever reason, Dave Bergman is in the leadoff spot in this game. That's the way Sparky did it, so I don't know why. But I would have thought somebody else would have been a better choice, but hey, that's what they went with. Dave Bergman. Bergman hitting 259 on the replay, a homer 11 driven in. He hit 273 real world. We get a 2-6, and Bergman will ground it to Herbeck at first base, one away. Not much going on there in the at bat for Bergman. Here's Darrell Evans. He is the designated hitter in this game. He is hitting 255, 10 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 257 real world. 2-6, and that's a ground ball to second, and Mr. Newman will take care of it. 2 down. And that'll bring up Kirk Gibson left field. Gibson in the replay is hitting 398, but he's only had 88 at bats, so he's not going to qualify for any batting lead right now. He was injured quite a bit early on. 7 home runs, 24 driven in. On the replay at 277. That's a 2-9 for Gibson, and that is a split chance. 1-4 is a single. That is a 4. So Gibson will single. If we had been playing advanced, that would have been a fly to right, but with the super advantage and the triangle, you drop down. 1-4 is a single, double die is a 4, and Kirk Gibson gets a 2-out single. Hello, Dan. Good to see you. And coffee, of course, is in play. And I like what I did yesterday, so I did it again. I put it in the microwave 30 seconds before I came up here to make sure it was extra hot, so hopefully it'll keep that heat longer than the 7th inning. Because I really rather, instead of doing a 7th inning stretch, I want to do a break between games, a doubleheader, and that'll give me time to get coffee and take care of other things and whatnot. So Kirk Gibson, to get the lead, needs a 5 or a 6 to obtain a good lead. And he does not do it, so he will hold. That brings up Alan Trammell, the shortstop. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. I'm sure I'm a little bit earlier than when I usually am, but I'm playing a doubleheader, so I want to kind of start a little earlier if I could. So here is Alan Trammell. Trammell on the replay is hitting 396, 11 home runs and 34 driven in. He hit 343 real world. 1-7, and that's a double. 1-4. That's a 17, so it's a single 2 stars. And that will put, or as Jeff would say, 2 asteroids. If you remember that, if you've watched any of his older videos, always calls the asterisks asteroids. So we got runners at the corners with 2 outs, and now Trammell needs a 5 to get a good lead. Does not get it. He will hold, and here comes Matt Noakes, catcher. Noakes in the clutch, and this is a clutch situation. In the clutch, he will lose a hit on 3-5 and on 2-6 and 2-7. So he's a little bit anti-clutch. On the replay, 269 average, 14 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 289 real world. Blyleven to Noakes, 5-12, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Gagne. He's a 2E24, but he's actually a 3E24 because they were holding Trammell on, and with a lefty batter, the shortstop is responsible. So he changes to a 3E24, and that could be a big difference. 3E24 and a 6. Boy, that could definitely make a big difference. Let's see, 3 and a 6. And it does. 3 and a 6 is a G3 pound. So with that pound, that turns into a single 2 stars when you're holding the runner. So that's going to be an RBI single for Matt Noakes. Going to third is Trammell. And we'll check for an error. That's a 12. And Gagne's a 24. No 12 there. But it's an RBI single because of the effect of holding the runner. There you go. That can happen. Hello, Joel and Colin. Good to see both of you, and praise. So that's the effect of holding the runner. I know when I used to play the game on the computer a lot, I'd see that. I think it was be a ground out, and then it says, no, you're holding the runner, so it's going to be a base hit. And I used to hate that, but that's just the way it is. All right, so Matt Noakes is no threat to run, so he's not being held. So that's not going to come up this time. But we do have the right fielder, actually center fielder, Pat Sheridan. He's hitting 250 on the replay, 3 homers, 15 driven in. He hit 259 real world, so he's in decent shape as far as recreating his stats. 412, and that's a fly to left, and that's going to be hauled in out there by Brunansky to end the end. But the Tigers strike first and take a 1-0 lead after 1. And Robinson back out. His fatigue is a 5, so they might try to get 6 innings out of him. Since it's a doubleheader, you don't want to overtax your bullpen. Although Frank Tanana will be pitching in game number 2, and Tanana, you would think, would give him some, lots of innings. Hello, Bruce. Good to see you. If you want to learn Super Advanced, well, I've got a couple of instruction videos in my playlist somewhere or another that you can watch. But sometimes just watching the game and as it's played is the best teacher. Sometimes I've found. Just depends. Let's see here. All right, so I'm assuming you already know Advanced. Hello, Bob. I'm assuming you already know Advanced. You're just trying to take the next leap to Super Advanced. So it's not that big of a jump. Mainly it's dealing with the stealing effects and some of the overthrow effects on outfielder throws. You got to decide whether you want to cut the throw or whatever. Little things like that. So hopefully it's not too bad. All right, here's Kent Herbeck. He's hitting 311 on the replay, 13 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 285 real world. That's a 6-9, and that's going to be a triple 1-7. That's a 4. Kent Herbeck had one triple on his season. Does he have it on his card? Probably not. It probably depends on coming off the pitcher, I imagine. So it will be we'll allow it. Triple Kent Herbeck. A leadoff triple, 6-9, 1-7's a triple, and that's a 4. So that'll bring up Gary Gaetti with nobody out. Boy, do you play the infield in, or do you just try to prevent a big inning? Different school of thought on that. Gaetti hitting 230 on the replay, 11 home runs, 41 driven in. He hit 257 real world. With nobody out, they're going to play the infield back. They don't mind giving up 1 run. They just don't want to give up 2 or 3. It's a 5-9, and that's a fly ball left field beat, so it's a sacrifice fly, so it doesn't matter anyway. It's all a moot point as Gaetti hits the sac fly to bring home Herbeck, and we have a tie ball game at 1 apiece. So Gaetti does his job, gets the run home. Bases are now clear for designated hitter Gene Larkin. And Larkin hitting 364 on the replay, just 22 at bats though, so very, take it with a grain of salt. He had 266 real season with 4 home runs and 233 at bats. But he's only had, this is his 23rd at bat, so not a whole lot to go on. 5-5, he will pop it up to first, and Bergman is there. 2 down. And here is Brunansky, left fielder. Brunansky hitting 289 on the replay, 7 homers, 20 driven in. He at 259 real world. That's a 110. That's a ballpark blast. 1-11, but that's an 18. So just a deep fly to left, as it did not fit into the 1-11. The D20 didn't cooperate that time, so just a deep fly to left, and that's hauled in out there by Gibson, and the inning is over. But the Twins do tie the score at 1 apiece as we go to the bottom of the second. And Blyleven back out will face right fielder Johnny Grubb, getting a rare start in the outfield in this one. Grubb has had 52 at-bats so far on the replay. He only had 114 real world. He had 202 with 2 home runs. On the replay, in 52 at-bats, he's hitting 192, no homers, 6 driven in. 2-9, and that's going to be a pop out to short. And Mr. Gagne will put that away, 1 away. For Tom Brookins, third baseman. Brookins on the replay, hitting 274, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He at 241 real world. 2-8, and that's a solid single for Tom Brookins. Brookins needs a 6 or a 7 to get a good lead, and this is about the super advance you were talking about. Well, in advance, of course, you can steal anytime you want, and you just use the letter grade. Here we use these numbers, and to get a good lead and use that first number on the lead, you got to get these numbers here, 6 or a 7. Otherwise, you'd have to steal off the 11. He gets the 8, but that's a 2. Anytime you roll a 2, means we're checking the pitcher for a balk. Fortunately, Blyleven has a 0 balk rating, so there is no balk, but what it means is Brookins can no longer establish a good lead, so he will have to hold. So Brookins can't do anything. And now the season debut of Jim Whalewander. Whalewander has joined the team, and he is here. In 54 at-bats, he hit .241 with a homer, but this is his first at-bat of the replay. Second baseman Jim Whalewander. Whitaker is unavailable for this doubleheader, so you will not see Whitaker, not even as a pinch hitter. Hello, Dr. D. It shows him on the roster, but I checked the doubleheader real-life box score. He did not appear as a pinch hitter in either game, so I'm going to take it to mean he was totally unavailable because other guys did pinch hit. So if he was available, he would have pinch hit. All right, so here is I already rolled that for the steal chance on Brookins. All right. Here's Whalewander, switch hitter. 1, and Whalewander will line it to third, and Gaetti will snag it. 1 away, or 2 away now. So Jim Whalewander. Here's Bergman. Bergman grounded out to Herbeck his first chance. 110, and that's a split chance on that super advance. The advance would be a fly to right. Super advance, when you get the triangle, you drop in here and look at the D20. 1 to 11 will be a single. 12 to 20 is a line out to second. That's a 9, so it's a base hit. Base hit for Dave Bergman. It's only 1 star, so Brookins can only go to second base. But now first and second, 2 down, and now a clutch situation, as Jeff likes to say, which is also a super advanced deal. So we look for the Omega symbols on Evans against right-handed pitching, and we see right here a 1-6 and a 110 turn these outs into hits. So Bergman Evans a little bit better in the clutch. He gets those 2 extra hits. That's a 2, so we're looking at balk or pass ball. And it's a balk chance. We already know Blyleven cannot balk. Good thing, because Salas had a 14 pass ball rating. So here's Evans. 1-9 for Evans. He will walk, and that will load the bases. Bases are loaded for Kirk Gibson. Gibson in the clutch loses a hit on 212. Everywhere else, he is completely neutral. But a big spot here for the Tigers to jump on Blyleven. 6-4 catcher X. That's got a chance of something happening here because Salas is a 4. And that's a 9. So we'll see what happens here. Could be a possible wild pitch or something like that. Let's see here. A 4 and a 9 is a P/P. That's a 10. There is no error on that, but it's a P/P. So we go to P/P. P/P, or PP as we call it. And it says we're going to use, or so what I do here is I use the approach of this thing in the notes. And that means we're looking at the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to determine if it's going to be a pass ball or not. So the wild pitch rating on Blyleven is a 10. So if we roll a 1 to 10, this becomes a pass ball. If not, it's not a pass ball, and Gibson pops out and the inning's over. That's a 15, so it is not going to be a pass ball. It will be a pop out to end the inning. So Gibson will leave them loaded. And we go to the 3rd inning, still tied at 1 apiece. That could come back to bite the Tigers later on, leaving those bases loaded like that. So Robinson now back out will face the catcher Salas, then Gagne and Newman. Salas on the replay hitting only 156 and 32 at bats. He had 250 real world. 1-8 for Salas. That's another split chance. 1 is a single. Anything else he lines to second. So he lines it to Whalewander, and there's 1 away. One down, and that brings up Greg Gagne. Greg's Gagne with the spoon. If you remember the 80s MTV generation. Hello, Frank. 2-8, and that is a single. There's the Omega symbol, but we're not in a clutch situation, so the single stands. And now Gagne gets a chance to get a lead, needs a 2 through 6 to obtain the lead, but if he rolls an 8, he's picked off. Just got to watch out for that 8. That's 10, so it doesn't matter. He couldn't get the lead. He will hold, and Al Newman, the batter. 5-7, switch hitter batting left is another split chance. 1 to 8's a single. That's a 9, so he's going to line it right to Whale Wander. And that is out number 2. 2 down, and we're looking at Randy Bush. Gagne's still stuck at first base. 6-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. There's a dot there, but obviously he's not tired yet. Second strikeout of the game for Robinson, and that'll do it for the Twins. We go to the bottom of the third, still 1-1. And due up for the Tigers will be Trammell, Noakes, and Sheridan. Here to start the bottom of the third, and time for a coffee sip. While it's still good and warm. And we're ready for the bottom of the third. Trammell. 2-10 for Trammell. He's going to ground to short. That's one away. That'll send up Matt Noakes, the catcher. 4-4, and that's a fly center field. X Puckett's a 1, so we know he's going to get to it. We're just worried about the E6. And a center fielder, the only errors on an E6 for center field are 3, 4, and 15. If he avoids those 3 numbers, he's fine. And he does. So Puckett will make the play. 2 down. And that's going to send it to Pat Sheridan. Sheridan fly to left his first chance. 2-12, and that's a ground ball to third. Gaetti is all over it. And the Tigers go quietly in the third. At the end of 3, we're still tied at 1 apiece here in game 1 of a doubleheader. Top of the fourth, it'll be the heart of the order, Puckett, Herbeck, and Gaetti. First time up, Kirby Puckett struck out. 1-8, and this time he'll get a base hit. Leadoff single for Puckett. Let's see if Puckett can obtain a lead. Needs a 4, 5, or a 6. Gets the 5, he's going to go. Robinson's a 0 hold, so we got a 15. -2 for being held is a 13. 1 to 13, no change for pitcher-catcher interface, so just the 1 to 13 is going to be good by itself. And we get a 17, so Puckett is caught stealing. Nice throw by Noakes. And Trammell puts on the tag. So Puckett is caught stealing. 1 away, and here's Herbeck, who tripled his first time up. 6-8, and that's a 1-2 double, but that's a 9, so he will fly to right. 2 down. And here's Gary Gaetti. 1-6 for Gaetti is a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. So after the leadoff single, the stolen base kind of took the starch out of that, and we go to the bottom of the fourth, still 1-1. Our score. Due up bottom of the order, Grubb, Brookins, and Whale Wander for the Tigers against Behome Bly-Levin. 4-5 is a fly to center. Puckett is all over it. 1 away. Both pitchers seemingly in control at the moment. Here's Tom Brookins. Singled his first trip. 1-10, and that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1, though, so kind of bad luck for him. He's going to pop it up to first. 2 down. Whale Wander, his second at bat of the season. 6-9, switch hitter batting left, and he's going to ground it to Newman at second to end the inning. So at the end of 4 complete, we're still tied at 1 apiece here in game 1 of a doubleheader. Tigers and the Twins. And good morning to you, Jeff. And of course, we got the coffee right here ready to go. And I'll be refueling that between games. To use one of your words, Jeff, between games, I'm going to take about a 2 or 3 minute break, heat up my coffee, and to use one of your words, utilize the lavatory. Because drinking coffee can do that to you. All right, here is Gene Larkin. He will lead off. And this is the fatigue inning for Robinson. He does have that 5 there, so we'll keep a track on. Hello, Canadian. We'll keep track of the fatigue if and when it happens. 1-5. 1-5 is a ground ball to first. And that's going to be Bergman making the play, taking the bag himself, 1 away. For Tom Brunansky. 4-9, and that's going to be a single. Base hit for Brunansky. First ding against the record of Robinson. Brunansky now, to get the lead, needs a 3 or a 7. However, he gets picked off on an 8 and 12, and we just had Puckett caught stealing last inning, so they're going to not have Brunansky try to steal. They'll hold him on, but they're not going to have him try to steal. And here's Mark Salas. 1-5, and that's a single to left field for Salas. It's going to put runners at first and second with 1 out. And it could be the beginning of the end for Robinson, because he could one more base runner or one more, other than an error, another hit or walk or whatever, he's going to reach fatigue. So the bullpen for the Tigers starting to already stir down there. Left-hander Mark Thurmond is loosening in their bullpen. Here's Greg Gagne, and this is if it was nobody out, it'd be a perfect time to bunt. Well, with 1 out, you don't really bunt with 1 out. That kind of is pointless. So they'll see. That's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. Now we're looking at a pass ball chance. On notes, it's only a 3. And there's no pass ball there. So here's Gagne. 1-9, and that's trouble. 1-10 is a triple. 11-20 is a double. That's a 3. It's going to be a 2-run triple for Greg Gagne. And this could definitely be the beginning of the end for Robinson. He has now reached fatigue. 2-run triple by Greg Gagne. And now you got the switch hitter, Newman, coming up. And then you also have lefties right after that. So they're going to make the move. Sparky's not going to mess around. He's going to make the move to the bullpen for left-hander Mark Thurmond. Thurmond on the season was 0-1 with a 4.23 ERA. We'll get his numbers on the replay. Can't close the book on Robinson yet. He is responsible for Gagne's run. So we go to the bullpen for Mr. Thurmond. And Thurmond in the replay is 2-2 with 5 saves. He had 5 saves in the real season as well. ERA of 9, though. 24 innings pitched, 38 hits, 9 walks, and 8 strikeouts. So Thurmond will be facing the second baseman, Al Newman. Infield is in with 1 out. Kind of have to bring him in at this point. If I had guts, I'd do a suicide squeeze, but I'm not going to do that. 1-5, and against lefties, that's a walk. So Newman will draw the walk. And let's see, Thurman's a 0 hold, so it makes him a +1. So if Newman wanted to get the lead, 2 through 8 or a 10, a 9 he's picked off. They're going to try for that lead. That's a 3. He gets the good lead. He's a 15. Being held a 13, but the +1 makes it a 14. 1-14. And he's in there with the stolen base. That takes the double play out of the equation. So Newman with the stolen base keeps the infield in now against Randy Bush. But Bush only faced left-handers 3% of the time. Boy, if you're the Twins, what do you do with this? They could go to their bench, but the Tigers will be bringing out more righties later. So they're going to stick with Bush. I mean, this might be one of the 3%. So I don't know that Bush has faced many lefties on the replay so far. So they're going to leave Bush in there. Second and third, one out, infield is in. Thurman to Randy Bush. 3-8, and that's a strikeout. So Bush out on strikes for out number 2. And that will bring it to Kirby Puckett. First base is open, but you got Gaetti behind him. You got Herbeck behind him. So they're going to walk Puckett intentionally. Herbeck, as has been documented before, does not hit lefties well at all. And so they'd rather take their chances with him rather than Puckett. So Thurman to Herbeck. It's a 6-5, and that's a line out to third base to end the inning. And that minimizes the damage down to 2 runs. We can now close the book on Robinson as Thurman gets out of any future problems. So the intentional walk strategy paid off. And now we'll go to the box score and get the final numbers on the starter, Jeff Robinson. He is on the hook for the loss unless the Tigers come back to at least tie the game. He goes 4 1/3, gives up 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, walks none, and strikes out 2. And now Blyleven given a 3-1 lead to protect, and he'll be facing the top of the order in Bergman, Evans, and Gibson. 3 left-handed batters. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. And for Blyleven, that's his first strikeout. Took him 5 innings to get one, but he finally got a strikeout. Here's Darrell Evans. Evans walked and grounded out. 3-7, and that's another strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts for Blyleven. 2 away for Kirk Gibson. 3-9 for Gibson. He strikes out. So Blyleven strikes out the side in the 5th. Talk about a shutdown inning. That's in spades right there. And we go to the 6th. It's 3-1 in favor of the Twins. Thurman back out. Will face Gaetti, Larkin, and Brunansky here in the top of the 6th. 4-4. That's an in-home run chance, 1-5. That's a 6. It'll be a double for Gary Gaetti, a leadoff double. And that'll take us to the switch hitting Gene Larkin, designated hitter. Three, 8, and that's a walk. So now the Tiger bullpen again is stirring as we have right-handed action in their bullpen. Right-hander Eric King is loosening in their bullpen. Eric King. So first and second here is Brunansky. Six, 7, and that is a ground ball, second base X. Second base is Whale Wander. He's a 3-23. 3-12, probably going to be some sort of a force play, maybe a G2 or something. 3-12 is definitely a G2. That's a 12 itself. He's an E23. There's an 11 there, but no 12. So it's a G2, fielder's choice. It's going to go 4-6 on the fielder's choice. Gaetti will take third base. So now first and third with 1 out. And Salas, your batter. Probably the last batter that Thurman's going to face. With righty Gagne on deck. We're going to try to get him to get Salas, and that's going to be about it. Runners are, let's see, infield is playing in. They can't take a chance, so they're playing in. 3-6, and that's a strikeout, so it didn't matter where they were playing that time. Thurman gets the K. And now what do? Do you leave Thurman? Do you trust Thurman to get Gagne out, or do you bring in the right-hander? At this point, I think Sparky's going to make the move, and they're going to go bring in Eric King. So Eric King will be called in from the bullpen. Eric King. I need a sponsor for the bullpen too, like a phone company or something. You know, sponsored by TANA or something, you know. So King is going to come on. In the real season, he was 6-9 with a 489 earned run average. He did have 9 saves. On the replay, 2-2 with 2 saves, a 2.09 ERA, 39 innings pitched, 31 hits, 9 walks, 28 strikeouts. So he's had a good replay for sure. So we'll see if he can get Thurman off the hook, so to speak, against Gagne. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Clutch situation for Gagne against a righty. He loses a hit on a 3-8 and 2-8. Everywhere else he is neutral. 3-8, and there we go. 3-8 is a base hit, but it's his anti-clutch result. So there you go. 3, and it would have been the same with Thurman too. Obviously, he had the same situation there. So the anti-clutch. I know some people don't like to play the clutch ratings. I do, and so that changes to a pop-up to short, and that cost him 2 runs, potentially 2 runs, at least 1 run, maybe 2. But that it's going to end the inning, and that gets Thurman off the hook. So Thurman. Well, first we'll go ahead and put it in the computer, and then we will let the box score tell me all about Thurman's complete outing. So Thurman's going to go an inning and a third. He's going to give up 1 hit, no runs, 3 walks. Thurman walked 3. One of them was intentional, though. So, and he struck out 2. All right, so we go to the bottom of the 6th. Trammell is up, but Blyleven's hot. He's hit he struck out 3 in a row. Last inning, he struck out the side. Michigan, I don't want to use a real company because I don't want to get dinged by saying somebody's name, but I'll come up with some kind of imaginary, 2 tin cans and a string or something. Here's Trammell. 4-5, and that's a pop out to second base. 1 away, and here's Matt Noakes. .611, and that's a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Brunansky. He's a 2E4. 2-12, he'll get to that. E4, and that is a 13. E4, there is a 3, 15, and 18, but no 13. So good play for Brunansky. 2 down. And here's Sheridan. 0 for 2. 3-9, and he will get a base hit this time. So 2-out single for Sheridan. To get the lead, he needs a 2 through 7 or a 10, an 11 or a 12 he's picked off, but they're going to try for the lead. That's a 6, he gets the lead. 15, being held is a 13, but the +4 is a 17. So 1 to 17, they're going to send him. And he's in there. Stolen base for Sheridan. Stolen base for Sheridan, and that's going to bring up Johnny Grubb in a clutch situation. Can't pinch hit yet. We're not in the 7th inning, so Grubb is going to have to hit. All right, Frank, you have a good one. In the clutch for Grubb, though, he is a good. His credit, he's a good clutch hitter. 1-3, 3-8, and 3-10 are all base hits in the clutch. If you can find those numbers, that is. 3-9. He just missed it by 1, but 3-9 will be a base on balls. So it does keep the inning going. And that moves it over to Tom Brookins. Tom Brookins. In the clutch for Brookins, he is the exact opposite. He loses a couple of hits. 2-9 and 2-10 take hits away in the clutch. 4-7. Ground ball second base X. We're looking at Newman. He's a 3-E-10. Al Newman says, I got it. What me worry? I'm not going to worry about this. 3-16. He's got it all day long and twice on Sundays. That's an 8. He's an E10. And that's an 8. No problem at all, says Newman. And that's going to end the inning. So the Tigers leave 2 on base, come away with empty-handed. We go to the 7th. It is still 3-1 Minnesota. Game 1 of a doubleheader. And this is one the Twins won 9-3 real world. So Eric King back out. Will face the top of the order, Newman, Bush, and Puckett. 5-8 left. A switcher to batting left is a 1-7 double. 8-20 is a single. That'll be a base hit for Newman. Or if you're a Seinfeld fan, you can say, "Hello, Newman." So it depends on which Newman you want to go with. You want to go with the Mad Magazine Newman, or you want to go with the Seinfeld Newman? All right. King is a -1. So that makes him a 0 on the hold. So 2 through 8 or a 10, Newman gets the lead. A 9, he's picked off. And he's picked off. How do you like that? They just picked off Newman. King picked him off. One away real quick. As King with a quick spin move picked him off. Here's Randy Bush. 1-5 for Bush. He's going to fly to center. 2 down. And that'll send up Puckett. He singled, struck out, but was intentionally walked his last time up. 1-4, and that's a ground ball to third. Brookins has it to end the inning. So we go to the 7th inning stretch, but there will be no break because I'm taking the break between games instead. So we will just keep rolling. This is the fatigue inning for Blyleven, number 7. And he'll be facing Whale. Now we can pinch hit, so Whale Wander is subject to be pinch hit for if we choose, but there is no Lou Whitaker to go to. So let's see who they've got on the bench. Otherwise, they could play second base. Do they have anybody that can play second base is the question. Not really. I guess you can move. Well, Heath could play, but he's horrible. Man, what do you do with Whale Wander here? Chuck, what do you think? Do we pinch hit for Whale Wander, or do we leave Whale Wander in there? We could pinch hit and use Mike Heath as the new second baseman, even though he's not good at 4E41. So I'm leaning toward leaving him in there, but they do need offense for sure. All right, pinch hit for him. Okay, we're going to pinch hit for him. Okay, you get to choose the pinch hitter. You can either use Terry Harper, Mike Heath, Chet Lemon, or Larry Herndon. You got 4 choices as a pinch hitter. Of course, Heath would stay in the game to play second base. So if you want to use Heath, he's a 281 hitter, and that'd only be 1 player off the bench to be used, and would save these other guys for other things. But so it seems that would be the most logical thing. But Whale Wander is, so if you're a Whale Wander watching, that's no longer in effect. We will go to the pinch hitter for the Tigers, and it is going to be Mike Heath. He's normally a backup catcher. In fact, he will catch game 2, but he plays all over the place pretty much. The only place he didn't play was pitch and play center. I actually played center field too. He did play right field. He played every position but pitcher, because he even played short. So he will pinch hit and stay in the game to play second base. Talk about your Swiss Army knife, Mr. Mike Heath. So we'll bring Heath in on the computer, get him all straight. So Heath on the real season was a 281 hitter with 8 home runs. On the replay, he's hit 250 with 3 home runs. July 11 to Heath, 6-6, and that is a 1-14 single, but that's a 20. Got a bad break there. It's a line out to Gagne, and that's 1 away. So Heath hits it hard, but right at him. It was an atom ball, right at Gagne. And now here's Bergman. 6-7, the ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Gagne again. He's a 2E24. 2E24, 2 and a 10 is good. And E24 and a 12. I think he's okay with that. Yeah, he's okay. 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. So 12 is just fine. And Gagne will make that play, 2 down. And that'll send up Darrell Evans. 4-9, and that's a ballpark blast for Darrell Evans. 1-14, and that's a 10. It's gone. Darrell Evans, a solo shot. Look at it again. 4-9 is the ballpark blast. And for Tiger Stadium, it's 1-14, and that's a 10. Darrell Evans, home run number 11 on the replay. Cuts the lead to 3-2. That is his 11th home run. RBI number 28. Real world, he hit 34. So Bergman slices the lead in half with that home run. And here comes Gibson. 5-3, and that's a fly ball. Oops, 5-3 rather. Is a ground ball first base C, so Herbeck will field it, flip to Bly 11 covering, and that will end the inning. But the Tigers creep a little closer. I could say claw back a little closer, but I won't say that. And we go to the 8th inning, score 3-2. King back out. He'll be facing Herbeck, Gaetti, and Larkin. Herbeck, Gaetti, and Larkin for the Twins. And now Mike Heath on the computer will stay in the game to play second base. Again, not very good at second base, but before E41, he's not totally horrible. To 2-9, and that's going to be a single 1-12. That's a 4. It's a base hit for Herbeck. Single for Herbeck. He will not be held. And here is Gary Gaetti. Tigers would love a double play right about now. 5-9, but they won't get it. They might get a double, though. 1-4 is a double. That's an 11. It'd be a single 2 stars. And now all of a sudden, runners are on the corners with nobody out. And here comes the switch hitter, Gene Larkin. Infield for the Twins, for the Tigers, rather. Boy, they got their offense has just been a little lackluster, so they're going to play. They're going to play in. They just can't afford to give up a run if they can help it. So they will play in. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Trammell. Trammell is a 1E21. 1-17. 1-17 is a G1. And that is a 11. And he's an E21. I don't like that 11. Oh, he's okay. So it's a G1 with runners at the corners and the infield in. The play is on the batter, and that's it. So Gaetti will go to second. The out goes 5-3. Runner on third had to hold. So they instead of trading, that would have been a double play. You would have traded a run for 2 outs, but they down by 1. They just didn't think that to be feasible. So we'll see if that comes back to bite them or not. Score remains 3-2, though. And here's Tom Brunansky. Infield definitely in with Brunansky. This is where you could use a strikeout right about now with pitcher. 310, and that's going to be a strikeout. Right on cue, they get the strikeout. 310 is a strikeout of Brunansky. So Brunansky strikes out for out number 2. And now you're one batter away from getting out of this. Mark Salas is your scheduled hitter. He's a lefty. First base is open, but Gagney's already 2 for 3. So I don't know if you want to walk him. Chuck, I'll let you have the option here if you wish. If you want me to walk Salas to load the bases to set up a righty-on-righty matchup with Gagney, I will do it. If not, we'll let Salas hit. On the season, if you need some context, Salas 250, Gagney 265. But Salas is a lefty versus the righty, so I'm leaning towards letting just. Oh, you're going to say give him the intentional walk. Okay, I was leaning toward pitching to him, but we'll give him the intentional walk. So Salas walks to load bases, and now clutch situation for Greg Gagney. And in the clutch, he loses a hit here on 2-8 and 3-8. He's already lost one hit. He lost a hit last time in the clutch. So he came up in a clutch situation last time and popped out because he found the anti-clutch hit. So we'll see if that happens this time for Mr. Gagney. 6-9 for King. That's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So Gagney pitches out of it, and the intentional walk pays off. We go to the the bottom of the 8th. It's still 3-2. Blyleven back out. Still has some endurance remaining. And he will be facing the heart of the order, almost. Trammell, Noakes, and Sheridan. Gibson, I guess, would be considered the heart of the order, but cleanup hitter, Alan Trammell, who hasn't done anything, is 1 for 3, but he hasn't done much. 6-6 for Blyleven is a 1-14 single. That's an 11. So there we go. Trammell, leadoff single. Now the Twins bullpen starting to stir. Trammell needs a 5 to get the lead. And he gets the 5. He's going to, how about that? Trammell I was there and talk bad about him, say he didn't do anything. Now he singles and gets the lead to steal, which is almost going to be guaranteed. He's a 19, being held as a 17, but the +4 is a 21, making it basically a 1-20. And he's in there with a stolen base. So Trammell steals second base. And we wonder if that's going to be all for Blyleven. Bullpen activity for the Twins. They do have the Colonel, Joe Klink, their only lefty. He is the only lefty in the bullpen. These are the other 4 that are in the bullpen available for them. Got Matt Noakes, the catcher, coming up, followed by Sheridan and Grubb, a lot of lefties. So what do you do here? Tom Kelly's going to make the move. He's going to pull Blyleven. Blyleven can win it, but he can't lose it. He's going to go 7+. And he's going to give up a total of 8 hits. So far, 2 runs, but Trammell is his responsibility. Not much in the way of walks and strikeouts. He walked 1, 2. And he struck out 3, and all 3 were in the same inning. That was kind of weird. No other strikeouts in any other inning except for the 5th where he struck out the side. So Matt Noakes facing the Colonel, Joe Klink. And Klink is a -4 hold, so it'll make him a -2. And he's going to be facing Matt Noakes. So we go to the bullpen for the Colonel. Colonel Joe Klink in the real season, he was 0-1 with a 6.65 ERA in 23 innings of pitching. On the replays, 0-0 with an ERA of 3.97 in 11 innings pitched so far. So Joe Klink is on to face Matt Noakes. lefty on lefty matchup, 5-6, and that's a walk. He will draw the base on balls. Now you got an option if you're the Tigers. You can pinch hit for Sheridan, but if you bring a righty in for Sheridan, they will counter with the right-hander themselves from the for the Twins. Bring in probably Jeff Reardon, try to save it, I imagine. So it depends on if you want Sheridan to hit off Klink or you want maybe Herndon to hit off of Reardon. Because if you pinch hit for Sheridan, they're definitely going to bring in Reardon. Sheridan had 18% of his at-bats against left-handers. So I think they're going to go ahead and let Sheridan hit, and they'll probably pinch hit for Grubb because Grubb just doesn't hit lefties at all. So they're going to go ahead and let Sheridan face Klink. If he was a good bunter, he could bunt here, but he's not really a good bunter, so they're going to swing away. 6-9, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Gagne. Gagne is a 2E24. 2 and a 5. 2 and a 5 is a G3 pound, but he was not responsible for holding anybody on. Trammell was not being held at second, so he's not, vulnerable. That is a total of 12, and he was an E24. There is no. So the 2 and the 5. Is it 2 and a 5? Yeah, 2 and a 5 is a. So it's going to act like a bunt. It's going to be a 6-3 ground out, both runners advancing. So it kind of was pseudo bunt here, the way it turned out. And now they will pinch it for Johnny Grubb. No question about it. Grubb had 4% of his at-bats against lefties. So we will make the move to the bench, and they will bring on Larry Herndon to pinch hit. Herndon will take over and play right field as well. So Larry Herndon is going to pick up a bat. He will pinch hit here. Let's see, he pinch hit in the 7th. He's pinch hitting in the 8th. Larry Herndon. And let's see if Tom Kelly leaves the dugout steps to bring in Jeff Reardon, or they opt for some other strategy. First base is open. You could walk Herndon intentionally and pitch to Brookins and Whale Wander. That's a possibility as well. Herndon's a very good hitter. Hits 324. They're going to give the free pass to Herndon. And that'll load the bases, sets up a double play. But that's going to be it for Klink. Klink will exit, and Jeff Reardon will come on. Jeff Reardon, 8-8, 4.48 ERA real world. Bases are loaded. Reardon's a +1, makes him a +3. Bases loaded, 1 out. Is there something? Yeah, I'm looking on my phone. It's, I think, Comcast or Xfinity or what the heck ever is causing me to get these little. Hopefully it'll clear up very shortly. I'm hoping it will. So we go to the bullpen. Jeff Reardon. Reardon, like I said, in real world, he was 8-8 with 31 saves, 4.48 earned run average. On the replays, 2-1 with 8 saves and a 3.22 ERA. So, like I said, hopefully that will clear up. I don't know what's going on with Xfinity. It acts up when it wants to act up because my computer says I have good internet. So it's got to be something within YouTube and Xfinity causing something to go on here. But hopefully, you can't see it clearly. Hopefully, I can at least describe it clearly. Bases are loaded, 1 out, 3-2 ball game. Tom Brookins is your batter. Jeff Reardon on the mound. Infield is looking for the double play. You're back for the double play. Reardon could really use a strikeout. 6-9, And he gets that strikeout right there. 6-9 is a strikeout for Reardon. If you can't see it clearly, trust me, it is a strikeout for Reardon. He gets the K. And now it's going to be turned over to Mike Heath. Bases loaded for Mike Heath. Clutch situation for Heath. And he will lose hits on 2-8 and 3-10 and 3-5. So definitely anti-clutch. Reardon facing Heath. 1-9, and that's a double to center field. Clean as a baby's ass double right here to center field for Heath. So Mike Heath with a go-ahead double will score at least 2 runs. Trammell and Noakes will score. We'll see about Herndon. Herndon runs at a 12. He's a trail runner. Not being held makes him a 13. 2 outs makes him a 15. The double goes to center. Puckett is a -4 arm. Be a 1 to an 11 to score him. They're going to send him. Heath only runs at 11, so he cannot take third on the throw. So it's a 1 to an 11 shot. And he's out at the plate. So nice relay there from Puckett to minimize the damage. It's going to go 8 to 6 to 2 to get Herndon at the plate. But a 2-run double from Mike Heath gives the Tigers the lead 4-3. Those runs are charged to Klink. And now coming in to play right field will be Herndon. Coming in to pitch will be Willie Hernandez. Guillermo, don't call me Willie Hernandez. Will come in and try to save it for the Tigers. So a 2-run double from Mike Heath. So we close the book on Klink. And let's see where Klink was here. When did Klink come in? Klink came in right here. So he faced 3 batters. He got 1/3 of an inning done. But just 2. Yeah, it's 3 outs. Okay. So he got 1/3 of an inning done. Actually, this 1 run is charged to Blyleven. So he's going to give up 3 runs, which gives him a no decision. This 1 run is charged to Klink, so he's on the hook right now. 2 walks, 1 of them intentional, no hits. For Eric King, he did yeoman work. He went 2 1/3. Gave up 3 hits, no runs, walked 1, which was intentional, and 1 strikeout. And coming on now is Willie Hernandez, the closer. So Willie Hernandez, let's get him in line to and actually we're going to have a defensive replacement. Terry Harper is actually going to be in right field, not Herndon, because Harper is a 2 and Herndon's a 4. So we're going to have a defensive replacement. So now they've got the lead. Harper will go into right field in the 9th. So Terry Harper, who's a 2E16, versus Herndon, who is a 4E4. So better range, more error ratings on Harper, but better range to track something down. That's the trade-off you make. So Willie Hernandez is going to step in and due up for the Twins at the top of the order. Newman and Bush, but they got some right-handed pinch hitters sitting there on the bench for the Twins, and they're going to go that way. Dan Gladden's going to lead off. Pinch hit for Newman will be Dan Gladden. And pinch hitting for Randy Bush will be Mark Davidson. So they're going to have a couple of righties coming on to pinch hit right off the bat for the Twins. So Gladden will pinch hit for Newman, and then Davidson will pinch hit for Bush. To start the 9th. So the wheels are turning in the dugout, both dugouts. Tom Kelly going to his right-handed bench. So first things first, let's go to the computer. Bring in Dan Gladden. Gladden on the season was a 249 hitter, 240 with 8 home runs. On the replay, he's hitting 221, 3 homers, 11 driven in. Hernandez in real world 3-4 with a 3.67 ERA and 8 saves. On the replay, he is 0-0 with 1 save and a 6.75 earned run average. He's only pitched 1 inning, giving up a hit and no walks and a strikeout. So Willie Hernandez to Dan Gladden. That's a 5-2 for Hernandez. That's a ground ball back to Hernandez, an easy play for 1 away. And now that brings up the pinch hitter for the right fielder, and that's going to be Mark Davidson. He would pinch hit for Bush. So we'll get the numbers on Davidson on the replay. Well, first of all, on real world, he was 267 hitter with 1 home run. On the replay, he is a 237 hitter with 1 home run. Davidson facing Hernandez. 5-5, and that's going to be a walk. So Davidson gets the walk. He could try to get a lead. He's got 2 through 5. Good chance to steal here. Hernandez is a -2 hold, and Noakes is a +1, so that's a -1 on the hold. Let's see if he can get the lead. Needs a 2, 3, 4, or 5 to obtain a lead. Not obtain the lead, so he will hold. And here's Kirby Puckett. This is where it gets to be danger time. You're hitting right in the heart of the order. Hernandez to Puckett. 1-6, and that's a 1-4 home run. That's a 2. It's gone. Kirby Puckett. 1-4 is a home run, and 1-6 is a home run, or 1-4, and that's a 2. So Kirby Puckett just put the Twins ahead with a 2-run home run here in the top of the 9th as Willie Hernandez blows the save. For Puckett, that is home run number 8, RBIs 24 and 25. And the Twins shock this Tiger Stadium crowd, and they take a 5-4 lead. And Willie Hernandez can't believe it. Hello, Lane. Good to see you. Ken Herbat. Oh, that red die didn't go through. Let's re-roll that. But now Reardon has a chance to get the win. 4-9, lefty on lefty is a line out to first, and Bergman will snag it 2 down. Yep, Chuck, as RJL would say, stadium barfs. All right, here's Gaetti. That's a 4-2, and that's a ground ball first base C, so Bergman will flip to Hernandez covering. But the 2-run home run from Kirby Puckett does the damage. Hernandez 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, but the walk prior is what really messed him up there. So we go to the bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Tigers here in game 1 of the doubleheader. All right, Bruce, you have a great. So new second baseman coming in for the Twins will be Steve Lombardozzi. He will take over at second base when they pinch hit for Newman, and Mark Davidson will go in the game to play right field. So Lombardozzi is now your second baseman here in the 9th inning. All right, so we're going to have Jeff Reardon looking to get the win now. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Bergman, Evans, and Gibson, 3 lefties. So Dave Bergman will lead things off. 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Reardon. 1 away. And here comes Evans, who homered his last time up. 5-7. That's a ground ball, second base. X. You bring in a new second baseman, the ball will find you. It is Lombardozzi. So we bring in Lombardozzi's card. And you can see on his card, if the thing ever cleared up, and I guess Xfinity is still kind of screwed up. But trust me, it's a 2E18 there. So a 2E18. 2 and an E18. 2 and a 2. Boy, Devil Die wants to really mess everybody up. 2 and a 2, though. It's going to be a single. It's 1-star single. That's a 12. And let's see, Lombardozzi, what was he? 18, E18. There is no 12. There's a 13 there, but no 12. But it will be a base hit for Darrell Evans. He will single. And we will get a pinch runner for Evans, as he is the tying run as the designated hitter. So on the bench, the only guy left on the bench, Chet Lemon, he runs at a 12, which is a little bit better than what Evans is. So Lemon will pinch run. Lemon will pinch run for Darrell Evans. And Kirk Gibson is your batter. Kirk Gibson is the batter. So we go to the bench and bring in Mr. Lemon. He will do the pinch running. All right, here's Kirk Gibson against Reardon. I don't know why Xfinity wants to pick this time of the game to mess up, but it's doing it. Hope it clears up for game 2. If not, I may have to close this broadcast and start a new one. Game 2, hopefully that would clear it up. I don't know. Shall see. Now I'm getting circles in the same. Almost got circles in the. All right, here's Gibson. 6-8, and that's a 1 to 16 double. That's a 9. It's a double, 2 stars. And now second and third for the Tigers with 1 out. The tying runs at third, the winning runs at second base. They will intentionally walk Alan Trammell. There's no way in the world they let Alan Trammell beat you. So they will intentionally walk Trammell, but got to face Matt Noakes, which is no bargain either. The Twins will play back for the double play. They can't afford to let a drawn-in infield allow the winning run to score, so they will play back for the double play. Yeah, Dan, it's a nice game. Just sorry it's so blurry on the thing there. All right, so Noakes is going to be up with the bases loaded and 1 out, infield back for the double play. That's a 1-7, and Noakes, a 1 is a triple, but that's an 18, so it is going to be a sacrifice fly. It's a fly ball center field B, so it will be a sac fly. And that will bring home pinch runner Lemon to tie the game. So Lemon will stay in the game as a DH. But the game is now tied at 5 apiece. So they get Willie Hernandez off the hook. And now Sheridan, chance to win it, perhaps. Right here. It runs well to 17. With 2 outs, it would become a 19. So pretty much any base hit that doesn't involve stars, he's got a pretty good chance to score. Reardon trying to get him to the extra innings. 1-4, and that's a ground ball to second, and he does it. So we're going to extra innings. Just what we needed on the first game of a doubleheader is to go to extra innings. Did we really need that is the question. All right, so Reardon's going to go an inning and 2/3, and he's going to give up 1, 2, 3 hits. The 1 run, he walks 1, which was intentional, and he strikes out 2. So we're going to the 10th inning, 5-5 here in extra innings. Yes, Canadian did call it. You got that right. So now the Tigers will move on from Willie Hernandez, and they will turn it over to Mike Henneman, their other closer, the other white meat. Henneman was 11-3 and a 2.98 ERA on the real season. Let's see what he's doing on the replay. Henneman on the replay. Come on, Henneman, get over here. Henneman. All right, on the replay, well, first of all, 11-3, 298, and 7 saves in real world. On the replay, 2-2 with a save and a 2.92, so he's pretty much right in line with everything else. And in the 10th inning, he will be facing Larkin, Bernansky, and Salas. So Larkin will lead things off. On the bench for the Twins, their remaining bench players, Tim Laudner, the backup catcher, and Roy Smalley are on the bench. That's it. And pretty much all Roy Smalley can do is DH. If you put him in the field, you're really asking for it. All right, so here's Gene Larkin, switch hitter, around that left-handed. Henneman is a -5 hold, so that certainly helps. Makes him a -4. So we go to the top of the 10th, and here we go. 1-6, and that's a strikeout. Larkin out on strikes from Henneman. 1 down, and that's going to send us to Bernansky. Straight across the board, 5 runs, 11 hits for the Twins, 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Tigers. 4-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. Gibson, he's a 3-E-10. 3-E-10, 3 and a 15, he'll get to that. E10 and a 9. E10, there is no 9, so it's good play for Gibson. And there's 2 away. I may need to, maybe between games, maybe I'll do a restart or something, because it's just, I don't like having this fuzziness there. It's really irritating. And I'm sure trying to watch it is really, I don't know how the sound is. Hopefully the sound at least isn't choppy. I don't know. But Xfinity, as much as I pay Xfinity for their internet service and their extra bandwidth and stuff, you would think they would do better than this. All right, anyway, I digress. 2-7 is a ground ball to second for Henneman. And we go to the bottom of the 10th, chance for the Tigers to walk it off. And they'll have to face a new pitcher for the Twins. And that new pitcher is going to be, it's either going to be, they got 3 choices. They got Portugal, Frazier, or Atherton. So we'll see who's got the most rest. Let's see who has the most, or who has the, who's not overly fatigued. Let's put that. Well, Portugal is toast. So you can't use him. He pitched a lot last game. So between Atherton and Frazier, they're both about the same as far as usage goes. So we got our choice. So we'll go with George Frazier. George Frazier is on. So it will be Frazier. Unless you guys want me to try doing a restart now and see if I can clear things up. I don't know. Kind of like to finish this game, though. Frazier, 5-5 with a 4.90 ERA real world. On the replay, 1-1 with no saves and a 7.36 earned run average. So he's definitely been struggling a bit. And Terry Harper, remember, he came in to play defense for after they pinch hit for Grubb with Herndon. They used Harper for his defense. So Harper will actually get his first at bat in this game against Mr. Frazier. And that's a 3-3 for Harper, and he's going to ground it to short. Gagne will make the play. 1 down. I know we're running off the table here, so anything that's a 3 or a 6, I'll move the cards. Not that you can see him because it's blurry, so it's probably a waste of time to do it, but I'll do it anyway. Brookins, 3-6, and that's a ground ball to short as well. So another ground ball to Gagne for out number 2, and that brings up Mike Heath. Looks like we might go to the 11th inning to make Canadian happy. 4-8, and that's a single for Heath. So Heath has done well. He's 2 for 3 since coming into the game. Not really a threat to run, though. That's one of the downsides. And here's Bergman. It's going to take a big hit from Bergman to get him home. Four. That's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-2, so that will end up being a fly to right to end the inning. And we will go to the 11th inning. Tied still at 5 apiece. And Henneman will come back out for his second inning of work. We'll be facing Gagne, Lombardozzi, and Davidson. He's over here. Not that you can see him any better because things so blurry, but at least it clears up this part. So Gagne going to start things off. Gagne on the game, 2 for 4, single and a triple. It's a 6-10. That's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Brookins. He's a 3-E-21 is Brookins. 3-13 is good. Checking the E21, and that's a 9. E21 and a 9. There is no 9 there, so Brookins makes the play. And there's one away. Gagne is retired. Lombardozzi, he will get his first at bat. He came in as a defensive replacement after they pinch hit for Newman. So Gagne gets Lombardozzi rather gets his first chance. He was a 238 hitter real world. On the replay, he's hitting 280. I'm sorry, he's hitting 208. 2 homers, 15 driven in. 5-7 for Henneman. Ground ball second base X. We're looking at Heath. And remember, Heath is playing second base, which is not one of his better positions. But he's in there by necessity. And Heath is a 4-E-41 at second base. 4 and an E41. 4-20 catches a break there. So get to it. That's a total of 9. He's an E41, though. E41, there is no 9, so Heath makes the play. Got a beneficial role there to make the play, and there's 2 away. 2 down, and that's going to send us to Mark Davidson. Walked in his only appearance so far. 6-10, ground ball third base X. We're looking at Brookins again. And once again, he's a 3-E-21. 3-19 is good. E21 and a 10, that should be no problem. It is not. 11 is a problem, but not 10. So it's good play for Brookins. And that's going to end the inning. Henneman can go 3 innings of relief, so he's still good to go for another inning. We go to the bottom of the 11th. Still tied at 5 apiece. And up for the Tigers will be Chet Lemon. He will lead it off because he is the new DH in place of Evans when he pinch ran for Evans. So Lemon is on. This will be his first at bat. He hit 277 real world with 20 home runs. On the replay, he's only hitting 189 with 1 home run. So he's been struggling big time. 3-10, and that's a hit by pitch. So Frazier will plunk Chet Lemon to start out the bottom of the 11th. Lemon no threat to run. Gibson is a B bunter, but boy, if you bunt with Gibson, they'll walk Trammell, so there's no sense in doing that. They're just going to have him swing away. 2-9, and that is a split chance. 1-4 single. That's a 7. He lines it to second for Lombardozzi. And now Trammell gets a chance. See what he can do. And Noakes is on deck. Trammell in the game is 2 for 4. Also been intentionally walked. 1-9, and that's single to right field. There's an anti-clutch, but we're not in a clutch situation. Single to right. Let's see if Lemon can do something. If he can go to third on this, because that would be huge. Lemon runs at a 12. Keep that in mind. It was not being held, makes him a 13. The right fielder is Davidson, and Davidson is a -2 arm. So that would make him an 11. But then going from right field to third base, you add 2 more to make him a 13. So 1-13, he will get third base, which would be huge with only 1 out. Trammell would take second, but that would be almost irrelevant. So they're going to send him because even if he's out, you still got Trammell at second base to be in scoring position. So they're going to send Gibson. I'm sorry, send Lemon to third base. And again, we'll calculate one more time what his safe chances are. He runs at a 12, not being held is a 13. Going from right field to third base, you add 2, makes him a 15, but then the -2 arm from Davidson makes it a 13. So 1 to 13. Hello, Scooney. So 1 to 13, he makes it. And he's in there. So the gamble pays off. That'll put runners at second and third as Trammell took second on the throw. Now, it does set up a situation where they will walk Matt Noakes intentionally to load the bases. But now you got Pat Sheridan, so he's no slouch. Sheridan, he's 1 for 5, but he's still a good hitter. Hit 259 real world. Bases are now loaded with 1 out. And Sheridan, your batter. Infield is in for the Twins. So is the out. Everybody's in for the Twins. If I was playing for the Twins, I'd be in. 4-9. Ground ball, second base, C. So by not playing for the double play, but playing in, it saves them from losing the game. A ground ball C would have won the game. But a ground ball C, as we look at where's my little thing here? Look at the base running situation. If we look at the bases loaded, infield in, bases loaded, ground ball C is a 7, which says batter safe, lead runner is out. So they get the lead dog at the plate on that ground ball to second. So Lombardozzi will throw to the plate for a 4-2 fielder's choice to get Lemon out. Gibson goes to third. Trammell goes to third. Going to second is Noakes, and reaching on the fielder's choice is Sheridan. So now 2 outs and the bases are loaded. Going to come down to Terry Harper. Now, bases loaded, 2 outs in the clutch. Harper has no rating for clutch. He was a 203 hitter, but they have nobody else left on the bench. So, technically on the roster, they have Whitaker, but Whitaker did not play in either game of the doubleheader at all as a pinch hitter or anything. So I'm assuming he is unavailable completely, and I'm going to follow that. Or else I would pinch hit with Whitaker. Unless you think, since he's on the roster, I can use him. I don't know. I did the research and found out that he was not available. So I think it would almost be cheating to use Whitaker. Hello, Mike. How you doing? But you can let me know that. But I think I need to stand by that. So, all right. So it's going to be up to Harper. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Harper says, I'm going to get the hit to win it anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's a 1. What if George Frazier wild pitched in the winning run? How would that go? Let's get the wild pitch rating from Frazier off the computer because the cards don't have it. His wild pitch rating is a 15. Wow. A 1 to 15. 1 to 15, and we get a walk-off wild pitch. That's a 19. It gets blocked by Salas. So Salas saves the day there. Here's Harper. All right, Dan says if he's on the roster, he's fair game. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think I should go ahead and use? Because normally you would say the better hitter, you would obviously Whitaker is a better hitter than Harper is. And Harper is the DH, so Whitaker could just go right into the DH slot. But if we use Whitaker, he's a 265 hitter, whereas Harper is only a 203 hitter. So I'll go ahead and use Whitaker. I wasn't going to do it, but I'll go ahead and use it because he is on the roster. Oh, good. It clicked back in. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that, Jeff. Yeah, I just noticed that. It did finally click back in. So normally I wouldn't have used Whitaker, but since he's physically on the roster, Dan says it's fair game to use, so I'll go with it. Because certainly Sparky would use him in this situation. So he will pinch hit here in the 11th. If it goes extra, if it goes to the 12th, he'll just fall into the DH slot. That's all. So Whitaker, a 265 hitter with 16 home runs in the real season. And we'll bring him on the computer. He's the last guy off the bench for the Tigers. There are no more moves to make after this. So Whitaker on the replay is hitting 268, 12 homers, 37 driven in. So here we go. We'll see how it pays off. Frazier trying to hang on. .211, and it's a ballpark single check, and that's a 3, and he's a 2. Wow, Tiger Stadium just cost him a hit right there. Just cost him a hit. Unbelievable, but it cost him a hit. Look at it again. .211 against the right-hander is a ballpark single check. And it's a 1-2, and the double die is a 3. Unbelievable. And if you're into the mystery of what would have happened had we had Harper, again, as Jeff says, you got the butterfly effect where you never know. Let's see what Harper would have done on that .211. He would have flown to right, and it wouldn't have mattered. So we're going to the 12th. And remember, there is a game 2 to come. So that's going to just add to the wildness of this game. So wait a minute. Okay. Actually, he was the right fielder. So Whitaker is going to have to come in the game to play second base. And we're going to have to move Heath to right field. So Heath's going to be in right field. So we need to make those corrections on the computer as well. So Mike Heath will be in right field where he is a 4 -2 E4. So 4 -2 E4 for Heath. Whitaker at second base is a 2 E20. All right, so there's a lot of administrative stuff to take care of here. And in the bullpen, the only bullpen arm they have left is Nate Snell after they get past Henneman. But Henneman can keep going for a 12th inning. So Whitaker ends up lining out. Let's see, it was a 211, right? So he lined out to second on the failed ballpark check. So now, on the computer, Whitaker goes to second base, and Heath will take over in right field, with Henneman still there. And Henneman will face Puckett to start the top of the 12th. Yeah, Dan, I'm kind of feeling that myself right now. And I'm also feeling the effect of a second game to come. I hope it's not like the first game. This is a wild one. This is not the kind of game you want for. I guess it's better to have it in the first game than the second game. I don't know. Maybe that's up for debate. But anyway, here's Henneman. And Henneman has retired all 6 he has faced. Now he's got to face Puckett, who had a 2-run homer in the top of the 9th. 1-8, and that's a solid single for Puckett. Puckett to get the lead needs a 4 or a 4, 5, or 6, but he's a -4 for Henneman. So actually, they're going to hold Puckett. Not going to try to get a lead. Tigers will hold him on, but they will not try to get a lead. And here's Kent Hrbek. 210 for Hrbek. That's a ballpark blast for Kent Hrbek. That's a 14, and that is a 14. It is gone. Kent Hrbek. Look at it again. 210. Ballpark blast. 1-14, and that's a 14. A 2-run home run off the bat of Kent Hrbek has given the Twins a 2-run lead For Herbeck, home run number 14, RBIs 39 and 40 on the replay. And there you go. Henneman looks dejected. Here's Gaetti. 1-7, and that's a home run chance, 1-15, and that's gone. Back-to-back jacks. Home run for Gaetti. That is his 12th. Back-to-back jacks. Look at again, 1-7 is a 1-15 home run, and that's a 14. Back-to-back jacks. Henneman is now tired, but they're going to try to get him through the inning. But the dots now come into play on his card. Here's Gene Larkin. Keith Atherton is loosening the Twins bullpen. He would come in and try to save it for the Twins. Larkin 3-6 against Henneman, and that's a home run chance, 1-2, but that's a 9. So he'll settle with the double. Now they might have to go to Nate Snell because Henneman's about ready to be out of gas, you would think. Henneman, Snell is loosening, but they're going to try to see if Henneman can get at least an out here. 6-8, that's a strikeout. That's a big strikeout for Henneman to get. Henneman will obviously not be available for game 2 after pitching these 3+ innings, or 3 innings. So here's Salas. For 3 for Henneman. Ground ball first base X. We are looking at Bergman. He's a 2E12. Oh, 2E12. That's an 8. 2 and an 8 for a first baseman. 2 and an 8. 2 and an 8 is a G2, and that's a 7, and he's an E12. There's no 7. There's a 6 there, but no 7. So he'll make the play, and we'll call it 3-1 as he flips to Henneman covering. Going to third base will be Mr. Larkin. So now 2 outs for Greg Gagne. Gagne is your batter. On deck is Lombardozzi. 2-7, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So Henneman guts out 3 innings, but he's on the hook for the loss. He's given up 3 runs and 4 hits and 3 runs all in this inning. He ends up striking out 3, not walking anybody. But a 3 spot for the Twins, and now we're going to have Keith Atherton coming on to try to save it for the Twins as they try to steal one here in game 1 of a doubleheader, which they won in real world 9-3, by the way. So Keith Atherton is on for Frazier, and we'll close the book on Frazier very shortly. We'll get his numbers. Go to the computer for that. All right, so Frazier's going to go 2 innings, give up 2 hits and no runs, a walk and no strikeouts. He is in line for the win. Keith Atherton going for the save. He was 7-5 with a .454 earned run average in the real season. Let's see what he's done on the replay. And Atherton, other than a very tired Portugal, he is the last guy in the bullpen. So Atherton on the replay was in real world 7-5 with 2 saves and a 4.54 ERA. In the replay is 1-5 with 2 saves, but his ERA is 10.48 in the replay. So he has not been doing well at all. And we're going to have, let's see who's coming up here. We're going to have Whitaker, Brookins, and Heath are your scheduled hitters. Whitaker, Brookins, and Heath are up for the Tigers. So Atherton is a 0 hold, which makes him a +2. But down by 3, I don't think there's going to be any stolen bases going on. So here's Whitaker. Oh, wait a minute, it's telling me Brookins. That's right, Whitaker made the last out last time. And I forgot what it even was. Oh, it was a line out to second is what it was. That's what happened. All right, so it's actually Brookins, Heath, and Bergman. My bad. Brookins, Heath, and Bergman, because Whitaker pinch hit to end the inning last time. So, Tom Brookins, your batter. 4-9, and that's a 1-8 single. 15, though, is a liner to short for Gagne, one away. And I'm definitely going to need a few-minute break after this game is over to get ready for game 2. All right, here's Heath. 4-8. That's a strikeout for Atherton. 2 down. And now it's all up to Bergman. Last chance. Chet Lemon is on deck, but it's up to Bergman. 2-4 for Bergman. He lines to second, and that's going to do it. 1-2-3 inning for Atherton, and he will earn the save. And that is his third save of the replay. Winning pitcher will be Frazier. As in 12 innings, the Twins defeat the Tigers. Henneman's the loser. So let's get the totals off of the computer and put a wrap on this first game. So with the win, George Frazier improves to 2-1 on his record with the win. Henneman, the loser, drops to 2-3. Total score, 8 runs, 15 hits, and no errors for the Twins. 5 runs, 13 hits, and no errors for the Tigers. Tigers now drop to 25-21. Minnesota improves to 23-25. Player of the game, got to give it to Kirby Puckett. I mean, it's 2 home runs, a 2-run homer in the 9th, and a 2-run homer, or not a 2-run homer, but a single in the 12th. He was 3 out of 5. Could give to Herbeck, though, because he homered and doubled and singled. He missed a cycle Gaetti missed a cycle by a triple. Herbeck missed a cycle by a double. I just noticed that. He had a triple, a single, and a home run. So we had 2 guys miss the cycle by 1 result. And so you could pick your poison. I guess we'll give it to Herbeck. His 2-run homer in the 12th is what the deciding factor was. So we will give the player of the game in game 1 to Kent Herbeck. He will get the call for that. And now it's time to take a few-minute break and get everything set up for game number 2. Got to go get the starting pitchers for game number 2. For the Twins, it will be Alan Anderson. He will get the start in game 2. And for the Tigers, it will be left-hander Frank Tanana. So we will have Anderson against Tanana. That's just the matchup in game 2. So let me close this out and bring up game 2 on the computer so we can get it ready. All right, so let's flip the score sheet over. Flipping the score sheet over now for game 2. And now I can update the 1-loss records as well. Couldn't fill that in until I knew who won the game, until I know who won game 1, I should say. Good thing I'm doing this on the computer, not the phone. I just had a phone call come in, spam call. So I didn't want to deal with that. So as we start the second game, or get ready to set up to start the second game, the Twins now are 23-25 with that first game win, and Detroit is 25-21. And with the lefty Alan Anderson in there, the Twins are going to use Tom Brookins in the leadoff spot. Still got Whale Wander. For some reason, I didn't write his defense in. I don't know why, but I can write it in now. But I need to get the starting lineups all together before I take my break. So let's see what we got here. We need these guys. So Whale Wander is a 3E23. and a 15. All right, so I'm going to have to get these lineups put in place. First for the Tigers. We're going to have Brookins hit leadoff. He'll be followed by Evans. Where did Evans go? There he is. Brookins, Evans, Gibson, and Trammell. Then Herndon is the DH. Mike Heath will catch. Harper's in right. Where did you go, Harper? Where did Terry Harper go? I'll just lose him all of a sudden. Got to find Terry Harper. Got to be buried behind somebody else, I guess. Although I don't see him. All right, Terry Harper, where did you go? Did I put him back in the... I didn't put him back in the Tiger thing, I don't think. No, I don't know what I did with him. He's around here somewhere. He's got to be here somewhere, obviously. Terry Harper. Make sure he didn't get mixed in with anybody else. Why can I not find Terry Harper's card? He was just here a second ago. It's Harper, Lemon, and Whale Wander. All right, I'm going to have to find out what happened to Harper's card here. Oh, there he is. He got mixed up with the Twins somehow. Okay, so we have Harper, Lemon, and Whale Wander. Okay, so the Tigers are all set. And now we need the Twins. So they're going to have Newman play shortstop and lead off. And they're going to have Gladden in left field. And the normal Puckett-Gaetti combination. Herbeck drops down a spot against the lefty. Then we have Brunansky as the DH. Tim Laudner is your catcher. Laudner, one of the few guys that did not appear in Game 1. He'll catch Game 2. And then we have Lombardozzi and Davidson finishing that out. All right, so let's get the position players where they need to be. So on the bench for the Twins, that's who they're going to have. Let's move the starters out of the way, the pitchers out of the way. So the bench players for the Twins that are going to be available this game are those 5 guys right there. And let's go to the Tigers and look at their bench. They're going to have these guys. All of them are left-handed because of the left-handed starter. They're starting all their righties. So all 5 guys on the bench are left-handed. As Sparky goes with the platooning situation. All right. So we'll set things up before I take my break. It's game number 328. Of course, Tiger Stadium didn't change. Same effects. Tanana is 2-5 on the replay. Alan Anderson's 0-1. Tanana has a 5 wild pitch with a 0 balk and a -1 hold with the -2 from Heath and the +1 from Tanana. Alan Anderson is a 0 hold. Laudner is a 0 hold, so he's a 0. And, of course, on his card, no wild pitch and no balk. So pass ball for Laudner is a 6, and pass ball for Heath is a 5. Minnesota won this second game in real world 11-3, as they did sweep the doubleheader in real time. Okay. Now the question is, what do I put on for you guys to entertain you while I'm gone for a couple of minutes? That I don't know. That one I'm not sure of. Let me think of something here real quick that we could put on. Let's do... Try this here. Guess we'll put on what I put on the other day. We'll just have this interview I did with the Replay Gamer.
I didn't know how to do anything, so the video quality was really
So we'll do this while I go get my coffee and stuff.
You guys into the cards and dice more. Right. Actually, in 2000 and 2001, I actually bought the Strat sets for those 2 seasons with the intent that, maybe one day they'll be valuable or something like that. Okay. And I tried to pull them out, like, I can't even figure this game out. So I just put it away, put it on my bed. And for some reason, in 2015, I got back to it, bought the 2014 set, and I actually sat down and said, you know what? If other people can play this game, I can play this game. So
I'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes, folks.
And I started with the basic, then went to the advanced. And after I saw some other people play super advanced, I took the dive into that. So.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I consider you one of the pillars of the community. And so one other question before we get into Strat is, what do you contribute? What do you think part of your success is?
Wow. I don't know if you want to call it success or not. I try to, if you notice, most of my videos, I'm not on the camera. I'm usually behind the camera or the phone in this case or whatever I'm using because I want the game to be the star of the video. So I'm trying to show the people. I want to put the video out so the person is like they're sitting in my chair watching and I'm just playing it for them. But it's like they're watching it as if they're sitting in my seat. Sure. Is kind of what I'm trying to do. And when I was growing up, 2 things I really wanted to be was a baseball manager and a baseball announcer.
Okay.
I'm never going to be either one, but this lets me get the closest I can get to it because I look at Strat-O-Matic and some of these other games as simulations, like flight simulation is a simulation like you're flying an airplane. Well, to me, this is a simulation of you're the manager. And so you get to make all decisions that a regular manager would make given the circumstances they're given. And so it's like I treat it as a simulation.
And you get to call the game?
I get to call the game as best I can. I mean, I'm not flamboyant like some of the guys on YouTube are. I'm more matter-of-factly and just kind of say, here it is.
Well,
I might get a little bit raised in the voice, but not a whole lot.
Well, obviously, a lot of people enjoy your channel and your videos. They do quite well, and I know I love watching them. And again, that basic approach. There's a lot of Hall of Fame baseball announcers that have that. So, again, I enjoy it very much. So, we'll jump back in here into Strat. So, watching your channel and listening to you talk. So, I'm a collector. I think I'm up to like 56 or something Strat seasons. You don't have that many, correct? You have about 5 or 6 seasons of baseball.
Probably one longer. Uh-oh. Are we all right?
Yeah, you're back.
Blink there for a second. Right on my end, I don't know. But a lot of the sets I have, I bought aftermarket. There's a gentleman, I guess he's pretty well known in the Strat community, called Moonlight Graham, that sells aftermarket things. A little bit more reasonable than eBay does. And so sometimes I caught a sale. He would have a sale, and I'd kind of go overboard, even though it wasn't a season I necessarily wanted. It was like, it's only $50. That's a great price for this set with the extra players. Let me get it,
Right.
So I got like 2003, 2004, 2005. Hardly ever played them, but I've got them. So, But I'm not a collector per se every year. Although up until 2020, I was getting a Strat set. I would get the new computer game and the Strat set with the extra. It's the package deal they make.
Correct. Which
makes it a little bit more reasonably priced, where you get the computer game, the cards, and the extras all together with the card imaging. It's like one price. So I did it up to 2019. Now 2020, I didn't do it because to me that was a false season. I didn't carry the COVID season.
Yeah.
I did get it for 2021. Not the computer, but I got the card set because I got 47 and 86 in 2021 when they were coming out year before last.
Right.
And then this year, I didn't get it for some reason this year. I guess because I'm not as enamored with the modern game as it used to be.
Right.
I'm trying to trying to change that now by doing the replay. I'm doing payoff pitch,
Right.
being the modern season. So I'm trying.
All right, folks, we're back. Hopefully refreshed. That's another thing. Definitely refreshed on the coffee. Got a fresh, hot, piping thing of coffee, and that's one of the prerequisites. And the other thing I have, me and Great Value are friends. So I've got a little snack here. But me and Mr. Great Value are best of friends, as I am one of the more frugal people you'll ever meet. And me and Mr. Great Value are definitely friends. No question about it. So hopefully the stream strength and everything will hold out, and we won't have to deal with the fuzziness and whatever else came up. So we are ready now for game number 2. Tough luck for the Tigers, boys. So think of this in real world. How disheartening it would be to come back and have to play a second game after losing a hard-fought game like that in real world. But that's why you're professional. You have to move on. So, finish chewing a little bit of this blueberry bar. And the hot coffee. That's where I draw the line. I will not drink Great Value coffee. That's one thing I won't do. I will splurge and get the decent coffee. So to me, that's worth it. All right. So we move on to game 2. Al Newman played second base in game number 1 to give Lombardozzi the game off. Now he's playing shortstop in game 2 to give Greg Gagne the day off. Switch hitter batting right-handed against the left-hander Tanana. And Sparky says, come on, boys, let's see if we can get a split here. We're underway in game 2, 5-7. That's a ground ball shortstop. X Trammell's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. It's an E21 that has to be concerned. And on an E21 shortstop, 6, 15, and 17 are the only 3 chances for an error. And we get a 6. Before you know that, E21, a 6. Right there, Alan Trammell starts off the game with an error. E6 on Trammell. And I hope that's not a harbinger of things to come for the Tigers. If you are a Tiger fan, as Trammell just boots it. Obviously, he wasn't ready for the reset, I guess. All right, so Tanana is a -1 factor. If he gets the lead, it would be a 1-12. So Newman is going to try for the lead. Needs a 2 through 8 or 10, but a 9 means he is picked off. That's a 6, so he will take the lead and go for it. 15 minus 2 for being held is a 13, minus 1 on the pitcher-catcher quotient is a 12. 1-12, he steals second base. And he's got caught stealing. Wow, what a bad break that was for him. But he gets caught stealing to start the ball game. And so the error now is not going to come back and hurt Detroit after all. And now here's Dan Gladden, left fielder. He's hitting .219 on the replay, 3 homers, 11 driven in. He hit .249 real world. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Tanana, his first. 2 down for Kirby Puckett. Puckett now hitting .327 on the replay, 8 homers, 25 driven in. He hit .332 real world. 3-9, and that's a split chance. 1-6 is a single. That's a 14, though. So he will line it to Trammell, and that's going to end the inning. So a good throw from Mike Heath bails out Alan Trammell from his error. And we go to the bottom of the first, Minnesota nothing, and the Tigers coming to bat. And they ought to have some success against Alan Anderson, who is not a very good pitcher. Anderson, 1-0 with a 10.95 ERA in his 2 starts in the big leagues. This is his second start, probably his last start, I imagine. He only pitched 12 innings real world, so most likely this will be his. Although he does show some relief rating, so he may have. But it's his last start because he's already had He's already had a start, I believe. He's 0-1 on the replay with a 13.50 ERA. 5 innings pitched, 11 hits. Here's Brookins to lead it off. He's hitting 269 on the replay, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He hit 241 in the real season. 6-7. Ground ball second base X. We are looking at Lombardozzi. He is a 2 E18. 2 and a 15 is good all day long. At second base, he is an E18, and that's a 12. E18, there's a 13, but no 12. So Lombardozzi able to make the play, and there's one away. That'll bring up Darrell Evans. He was the DH in game 1. He's playing first base here in game 2. Evans on the replay hitting 262 now. 11 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 257 real season. 1-5 against the lefty. He grounds it to first, and Herbeck will take it to the bag himself. Quickly 2 away for Kirk Gibson. Gibson on the replay now hitting 394, 7 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 277 real world. 5-7, and that's a solid single for Kirk Gibson. And we'll see if Gibson can obtain a good lead. Needs a 5 or a 6 to get the good lead. He gets the 6, he's going to go. 19 being held to 17. 1-17. Laudner's T rating is an 8, but they'll risk it anyway. And it's a stolen base for Gibson. So Gibson gets into scoring position for Alan Trammell. Trammell on the replay hitting 403, 11 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 343 real world. First base is open. There's not really a pitch around function in Strat-O-Matic. I guess some people have home brewed something like that, but they do have Herndon, who's a pretty good hitter on deck too. So I think they're going to go and pitch to Trammell. Oddly enough, you have 2 Allens facing each other, but one of them is a double L, one's a single L. That's a 4-3, and it's a ground ball first base X. That is Herbeck. He's a 2E6. 2 and a 6 should be okay. 2 and a 6 is G2 pound, but he wasn't responsible for holding anybody on because Gibson's already at second base. So he's no responsible there. It's just a G2. That's a 7, and he's an E6. There is no 7, so it's a good play. Herbeck will flip to Anderson covering to end the inning. And both teams go away quietly here in the first. With the way they used the bullpen in game 1, they could really use some length from both of these guys. Here's Gaetti. He will lead off. Gaetti is hitting 239 on the replay, 12 homers, 43 driven in. He hit 257 real world. 4-8 is a strikeout for Tanana. That's his second. That'll bring up Herbeck, who does not hit well against lefties. Overall in the replay, though, he's hitting 318, 14 homers, 40 driven in. He hit 285 real world. 1-6, and that's a ground ball to short. Taken by Trammell, 2 down. And that'll send us to Tom Brunansky. He was in right field in game 1. Now he's the DH in game 2. Brunansky hitting 285 on the replay, 7 homers, 20 driven in. Hit 259 real world. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Tanana. And they could definitely use about 7 good innings out of Tanana for sure. Henneman's unavailable. He pitched 3 innings in game 1. He is the only one who's technically unavailable. The other pitchers are going to be available, although they might be tired or getting stretched. But Henneman went 3 innings. So okay, I think we're back now. I had to actually shut down the computer. It's the only way I could fix it. Was do a total shutdown, power shutdown, and refix. That's the only way I could do it. So we're back. hopefully we're back to stay. I don't know what anybody missed. The only thing I did that I think you might have missed was a ground out to short by Herndon. It was a ground ball shortstop X to Newman, and he made the play. So it's a ground ball out, and that's the only thing I did there. I do need to bring up the Strat computer and restart that so I can get that going, so I can score the game along with playing it. Fortunately, I only have to go through an inning and a half to get caught up, so that won't take long to do that, assuming the Xfinity holds out for me, which is anybody's guess. You're a slave to technology sometimes. You don't know what, never know what's going to happen. Yes, definitely, Jeff, first world problems, no question about it. If this is my biggest problem of the day, my life is good. All right, so we're going to run through the score sheet and fill in the computer to get it all up to speed. We had a one base error. We had a caught stealing. And then we had a strikeout and a liner to short. That was the top of the first. Bottom of the first, we had a ground out to second, ground out to first. Then we had a single and a stolen base by Gibson. And Trammell grounded out 3-1. Then at the top of the second, we had strikeout of Gaetti, a ground out to short by Herbeck, and then a strikeout of Bernansky. And then the bottom of the second, Herndon started out grounding to short, and now we're all caught up. All right, so we're back in business, hopefully, assuming Xfinity decides not to screw up again. That's the hope. Anyway, the only silver line of the whole thing is I finished off my cereal bar, so I'm not chewing while I'm trying to play. But I got that finished off. And now we're ready to go with Mike Heath with one out in the bottom of the second and no score. It's a 1-3, and he's going to fly to right field, and that's 2 away. So 2 down, and that's going to send up Harper, the right fielder. Harper on the replay is hitting 245, a homer and 9 driven in. He hit 203 real world. 4-8, and that's a 2-out walk issued to Harper. That's the first walk issued by Anderson. Harper no threat to run. Brings up Chet Lemon, center fielder. Lemon hitting 188 on the replay. I'm sorry, 189 on the replay. A homer and 8 driven in. He's the Joe Carter of the Detroit Tigers in this replay. Really underperforming. He hit 277 real world. So Anderson to Lemon. 1-9, and that's a 1-14 double. That's a 3. It's a double 2 stars. Harper will take third base, second and third now with 2 outs, and Jim Whalewander will be up in a clutch situation. I don't think Whalewander had enough at bats to be rated for clutch, though. He's neutral all the way around. You're not going to rate you for clutch if he only had 54 at bats. He did hit 241 in those 54 at bats, though. And on our replay, he is 0 for 2. Second and third, 2 outs. Here's Whalewander. Switch hitter will now turn around bat right-handed. That's a 4-9, and that's going to be a single to center field for Whalewander. Catches a break off the pitcher card. Gets a base hit. Lemon runs at a 12. Was not being able to trail runner, makes him a 13. With 2 outs, becomes a 15. The single goes to center field. And center fielder Puckett, though, is a -4. So let's evaluate this. Look at it again. 12 not being held is a 13. Trail runner is a 13. And 2 outs is a 15, but then the minus. So it's 11, 1 to 11. He's got a 55% chance, so we're going to go ahead and send him anyway. Whalewander would take second on the throw. And he's in there, so Whalewander does take second on the throw by Puckett. It's a 2-run single for Jim Whalewander. And the Tigers take a 2-0 lead. Least likely candidate of a hero there is Jim Whalewander, but he gets a 2-run single. 2-run, 2-out single. Anderson got the first 2 outs, no problem. Then a seemingly innocent 2-out walk turned him into some trouble, followed by a double and a single. Here's Brookins. 4-8 for Brookins. That's a walk. Second walk issued by Anderson. He's starting to dig himself a bigger hole. Here's Darrell Evans. In the clutch for Evans against a lefty, he will lose 3 hits on column 1. 1-3, 1-8, 1-10 are all anti-clutch. That's a 2-4, and that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-2, so that's going to end up being a ground ball back to Anderson to end the inning. But the Tigers put 2 on the board. 2-run single from Jim Whalewander, and they lead it 2-0 as we go to the top of the third. And top of the third, we go for Tanana, who's now been given a 2-0 lead to work with. And here's Tim Laudner, the catcher. Laudner, his first at bat of the game, did not play in game 1. Laudner's hitting .279 on the replay, 6 homers, 14 driven in. He only hit 191 real world. He's really doing well. 4-7. Ground ball second base X. We're looking at Whalewander. 3E23. 3 and 11, he'll get to it. And that's a 5. It's a rare play. So a 3 and an 11 is going to be a G2, but nobody's on base. G2, nobody on base on a rare play. And I don't think my beta version of a rare play is going to give much going on because you got to have somebody on base for it to be a difference. So with nobody on base, it's no rare play at all. It's just a 4-3 ground out for out number 1. So 1 away. And hopefully, if another silver lining that might come out of that circles in the sand is maybe it rebooted the Xfinity, so hopefully we won't have those fuzzies in this game. I don't know. We'll find out. Here's Lombardozzi on the replays hitting 206, 2 homers, 15 driven in. He at 238 real world. 4-6 against the right-hander is a 1-8 single. That's a 10, so he's going to line it to Trammell. That's out number 2. And that'll send up Davidson, the right fielder. Davidson hitting 233 on the replay, a homer and 5 driven in. He hit 267 real world. 3-7, he strikes out. That's strikeout number 4 for Tanana. So Tanana, thanks to the caught stealing, has faced the minimum through 3 innings. And he has struck out 4 while doing so and has a 2-0 lead. So we go to Alan Anderson. He'll be facing Gibson, Trammell, and Herndon. Gibson hitting 400 even in 95 at-bats. 7 homers, 24 driven in. And Gibson singled his first time up and stole the base. 5-6, lefty-lefty. That's a solid double for Kirk Gibson. He is singled, and now he is doubled, and he continues his hot hitting. Brings up Alan Trammell. Trammell. 6-4, and that's ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Newman. He's a 3E12. 3 and 11. Probably a G2 of some sort, if I had to guess. 3 and an 11 is a G2. That's a 15, and he's an E12 at shortstop. And there's a 15 right here. The only number on the E1 is a 15, and we just found it. So Newman boots it. Each shortstop now has committed an error, and Gibson will take third. So runners are at the corners with nobody out as Newman booted that one. Trammell now needs a 5 to get a good lead. Does not get it. He will hold. And here's Larry Herndon. Infield for the Twins is going to be back. They're trying to turn a double play, try to minimize the damage. 6-9, and that's a fly ball right field C, so it's not deep enough to score Gibson as Davidson fires it back in quickly. 1 away. Now a double play gets him out of the inning, and it's Mike Heath. Heath flew to right his first chance. 6-9 is another fly, same exact play. Fly ball right field C, not deep enough. 2 quick outs, and now it's up to Terry Harper in the clutch. And I don't know if Harper has enough at bats to even be rated for clutch. Yes, he is. He actually gains a hit on 3-7 and 3-2. So he gains 2 hits against lefties, or 2 clutches against lefties. And look at that. He faced, I don't know if you can see this on the computer very well or not, but on his card, he faced lefties 95% of the time, only faced 5% right-handers. So that's something right there. I don't know how well it shows up on here, but anyway, out of his 64 at bats, 95% of them came against left-handers. So here's Harper, 5-10, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases, and he'll set it up for Chet Lemon. Clutch situation for Lemon. Harper has walked twice. Both walks by Anderson have got 2 to 3 walks by Anderson have been issued to Harper. So here's Lemon in the clutch for Lemon. He is rated as neutral. I see no difference on his card. So he's definitely rated neutral. 5-12, it's ground ball pitcher X. He's a 3E0, so we know he can't make an error. He just has to get to it. And with the 3, pitcher and a 3, he just needs a 4 or higher to make the play. And he does. So it's good play, and the Tigers will leave him loaded. So we go to the 4th. It's still 2-0 Detroit. As Anderson gets out of the mess. So Lemon will be your, I don't want to talk about Lombardozzi, made the last out here. It was Davidson. So we're at the top of the order for Newman to start the 4th against Tanana. So Al Newman steps up. 6-8, and that is a fly to left field, 1 away. One down, and here is Dan Gladden. 3-2 for Gladden. That's a low max, but nobody's on base, so it just lines it right to Brookins at 3rd. 2 quick outs for Kirby Puckett. It's a 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Tanana. That's his 5th strikeout of the game. And he is really pitching well, keeping the Twins off balance. Tigers hold a 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the 4th. And Mr. Whalewander will lead it off. He had a 2-run single his first time up. 3-10, and that's a fly to center. 1 away. Tom Brookins in that leadoff position. 6-4, and it's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Newman again, 3-12. 3-2. That's going to get through for a base hit. Devil Die strikes again. That's an 8, so I don't think there's a problem with an error on E12. There's 8, there's none. But a 3-2 is a single. And so Tom Brookins, a 1-out single, as Newman unable to get to that, thanks to the Devil Die. Brookins, a 6 or a 7 to get the lead. Whoa, we got a hop and dice. So maybe that's a bad sign about trying to get a lead. We'll find out. Yep, we can't get the lead anyway. It's a moot point. Here's Evans, lefty on lefty. 1-6, that's a fly to center. Puckett under that one, 2 down. And it's going to be up to Kirk Gibson to keep it going. He has singled and doubled. 6-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We are looking at Lombardozzi, a 2E8. 2-12, he'll get to that. E8 and a 7. There is no 7, so it's good play for Lombardozzi, and that will end the inning. So we go to the fifth. Score still 2-0 Tigers over the Twins. Tanana will face Gaetti, Herbeck, and Bernansky to start the top of the fifth. Gaetti struck out his first chance. 6-9, and he lines it hard, but right to Whale Wander. And there's one away. Tomorrow we will be at Comiskey Park in Chicago for the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox. Don't have it all filled in yet, but that's the bare bones score sheet. Al Nipper against Joel Davis. That'll be game number 329, and it will be tomorrow. Back more at the normal time, probably of 9 o'clock. That'll be at Comiskey. Here's Kent Herbeck. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. Herbeck again having trouble with the lefties. 6th strikeout for Tanana in just 5 innings. Here's Bernansky. He struck out his first chance. It's a 2-7, and he's going to strike out here. 7 strikeouts for Tanana. He is solidly doing the job, shutting out the Twins through 5 innings. Here comes Alan Trammell to see if the Tigers can add to their lead. Reached on an error by Newman his last time up. 3-12, and that's a single, leadoff single for Trammell. And he's going to try for the lead. Needs a 5 to get that lead. Doesn't get it, but that's a 2. Chance of a balk on Anderson, but he has no balk rating. But that means that Trammell cannot obtain a good lead, so he will have to hold. Here's Larry Herndon. 110 for Herndon. That's a ground ball shortstop A. It's a tailor-made. So Giovanni's Tailor Shop sponsoring that tailor-made double play. 2 quick outs for Mike Heath. 4-6, and that's a walk, 2-out walk. And for Anderson, that's his 4th base on balls. Heath, no threat to run. He will hold, and here comes Harper. Harper has walked twice. 5-5, and this time he's going to hit an in-home run chance on a 5-5, and he's got normal power. That is gone. Terry Harper, a 2-run bomb. Look at it again. 5-5 on Alan Anderson's a straight-up in-home run chance, and he has normal power. So I guess, Jeffrey, you could say that was clean as a baby's ass off the pitcher's card. Hey, Frank. Yeah, I haven't been on his website in a while. You got to dig to find stuff. I will tell you that. But Harper hits a 2-run home run, and after the double play, you figured all the damage was, there's no way they were going to get any more runs. But Harper's 2-run home run gets it done. That's the 2nd home run of the replay for Harper. He had 3 homers real world. This one's his 2nd one. His RBIs 10 and 11, and he had 3 homers and 10 RBIs real world. Now he's got 2 homers, 11 RBIs, and he's almost finished with his at-bats because he only had 64 at-bats, and that was at-bat number 54, so he's almost done for the season. But he comes through with the home run, and now Alan Anderson is tired, but they're going to try to see if they can't at least get him through the inning. There you go, Dan. Yeah, send me an email. Maybe I'll send you a brochure. 2-8, and that is a ground ball to third to end the inning. But this 87 set came from Moonlight Graham back in the day. As you couldn't get it, obviously couldn't get it off the Strat website. All right, so Alan Anderson may or may not come back for the 6th inning. Looks like they're going to go to Mark Portugal out of the bullpen. He's the only reliever that did not pitch in game 1, and he's got relief rating of 3. So Mark Portugal will take over for the Twins in the bottom of the 6th. It's a +9 hole, which is horrible. So Alan Anderson's going to go 5 innings. In fact, we'll go ahead and put a capper on him. Get those numbers off the computer just to verify what we have. For Alan Anderson. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits and 4 runs. They were all earned. 4 walks, no strikeouts. So Mark Portugal will take over. Mark Portugal will take over in the bottom of the 6th. Right now, top of the 6th, Tanana against Tim Laudner. It'll be Laudner, Lombardozzi, and Davidson, bottom of the order for Tanana. 2-7, and that's a walk. So Laudner starts out, first walk issued by Tanana. Laudner will not be held, obviously. Here's Lombardozzi. Good bunter, but you're down 4-0, so you're not going to bunt. He will swing away instead. 5-12, and that is a ballpark blast on a 5-12, but it's only a 1. I'm sorry, it's an 11. That's a 9. Lombardozzi, though, with weak power, it'll be a single. 2 stars, not a home run, but there goes the no-hitter. No-hitter is gone based on that, but at least for Tanana, it was not a 2-run homer because Lombardozzi has weak power. But the 5-12 was a ballpark blast. It was 1-11, and that was a 9. So runners are at the corners with nobody out, and here's Mark Davidson. Infield back for the double play. 3-5 for Davidson, and he's going to walk, and that's going to load the bases. So all of a sudden now, Tanana getting into a little bit of trouble. Bases are loaded, nobody out, and we're back to the top of the order for Al Newman. Tigers need some outs. They have a 4-0 lead, but that's in jeopardy. (2-9) for Newman, and that is a ground ball shortstop B. They'll get the fielder's choice to get the out at second, but the run will score. Laudner comes across the plate to make it 4-1. Lombardozzi will take third. So the 6-4 fielder's choice is where we are located. Tanana, they're saying now, is tired because he gave up 3 hits. This was his fatigue inning. So he is now tired, but they're going to at least try to get him through the inning if possible. So it was a 6-4 fielder's choice. It's now a 4-1 game, and here's Dan Gladden with 1 out, runners on the corners. Newman, let's see what he tried to steal or not. They're going to hold him 1, but he's not going to go anywhere down 4-1. Here's Gladden. 6-8 against Tanana, and that's a fly ball left field B. It's a sacrifice fly as Lombardozzi will come in to score. Make it 4-2 on the sacrifice fly by Gladden, rather. It's now 4-2. Brings up Puckett. Puckett is the tying run at the plate. Newman at first, 2 down. That's a 1-6, and that's a 1-4 home runs to 17 to be a triple. An RBI triple from Kirby Puckett. Cuts the lead to 4-3 as Puckett triples. On a 1-6, a 1-4 is a home run, and 5-20 is a triple. So the triple is there. Now the bullpen for the Tigers up in full force as Nate Snell, who did not pitch in game 1, is loosening. Nate Snell is your bullpen arm, be the first one out of the bullpen. So Nate Snell is loosening. Tanana facing Gaetti. 2 outs. Tying run now at third base. 5-11. And that's a ballpark blast for Gaetti. It's 1-11. That's a 10. It's gone. 2-run bomb from Gary Gaetti, and the Twins have now put a 5 spot on the board against Tanana. Look at it again, 5-11. We found that ballpark blast, 1-11, and that's a 10. So Tanana went from pitching a no-hitter through 5 innings to getting blasted here in the 6th. For Gaetti, that is home run number 13 on the replay. RBIs 44 and 45. And Tanana gets one more chance against Herbeck, and that's going to be it. If you can't get Herbeck, he is out of here. .610, and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Brookins. 3E21. 3 and 11 is good. E21 and an 8. E21, there is no 8 there. So Brookins makes the play to end the inning, but that's going to do it for Tanana. They will have Snell come in and pitch the top of the 7th. But a 5 spot for the Twins. And we can close the book on Tanana. Go to the computer to get his numbers. And actually, the way it turns out now, Anderson qualifies to be the winner because he's got the lead. He went 5 innings, and those runs are counted to his account. So Portugal coming in, but Anderson is the pitcher of record right now based on that. So even as bad as Anderson pitched, he got a chance to get a win. Go figure. That's what happens when your team scores your runs. Tanana goes 6 innings, gives up 3 hits, but 5 runs, as 2 of the hits were, one was a triple, one was a homer. All the runs were earned, and 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. So he went from a no-hitter through 5 innings to potentially dropping to 2 and 6 now on the replay. So Portugal is on. He was 1 and 3 with a 7.77 earned run average real world. So he's not exactly an ace on the mound, as you would say. So Portugal is on. Where did you go? There you are. Portugal is on. We'll see what he's done in the replay. In the replay, he's 2 and 5 with a 6.46 earned run average. So doing a little bit better, but not much. He'll be facing Whale Wander, Brookins, and Evans. 5.8. That's an in-home run chance, 1 to 15. That's a 14. And Whale Wander has normal power. Look at this. What in the world is going on? Jim Whale Wander just hit a 2-run home. A solo blast to tie the game. 5.8 is an in-home run chance, 1 to 15, and that's a 14. And Whale Wander has normal power. So Whale Wander has come through with a home run, his first of the season, obviously. And we're tied at 5. It does take the win away from Anderson, and it gets Tanana off the hook. So now Portugal and Snell are going to be – actually, take that back. Tanana can still get the win if the Tigers take the lead this inning and hold it. So a home run from Whale Wander. And now that brings up Brookins. 5.7, and that's a 1 to 18 single. So they are teeing off on Portugal early on. Brookins now, Portugal, that +9 holds, so they're going to attempt to get a lead, 6 or a 7. Does not get the lead, so he will hold. Here's Darrell Evans. Oh, that white die didn't go through, so we'll redo it all over again. 3-7, and that's a strikeout for Evans. 1 away for Kirk Gibson. .62 is a ground ball shortstop X. Brookins was being held. So shortstop is going to add 1 to their rating with the left-hander batter. So Newman's now a 4E12 instead of a 3E12. 4 and 6, that's going to make a difference probably. Well, 3 and a 6 would have also been a pound sign. So instead of the pound, actually they catch a break being a 4-6. Because it turns into an SI1 instead of a pound making an SI2. So the 6 actually gives them a slight break, making it a single 1 star. That's an 8, and there is no 8 on a E12 shortstop. So actually, they caught a break there. It's only a 1-star single instead of a 2-star single. But runners are at first and second, 1 out for Alan Trammell. We are tied at 5 here in the 6th. 1-2 for Trammell. It's a Lomax to third base. He hits into a double play. He's going to line it to Gaetti. Gaetti will fire to second to double off Gibson. And that will take care of the inning right there. Look at it again. 1-2 is the Lomax, and it's a possible injury for Alan Trammell. So we could be looking at an injury chance where Trammell has to leave the game. So actually, it was Brookins at second base that got doubled off, not Gibson. Was actually should have been Brookins up here, but I'm not going to worry about fixing it at this moment. 5 and then a 5-4 double play, and now we'll roll for the injury chance on Trammell. If he is injured, they will have to make a replacement. So he needs a 1-4 to stay in the game. 6, he's going to miss the remainder of this game. So Trammell's going to have to come out, and the Tigers will go to a bench player. Who do they have that can play shortstop is the question. Well, he's done everything else for him, so why not have him play shortstop? Even though he's a 4E48. Brookins is a 4E28. They want to put somebody in at third base that could make Brookins a 4E28. But I think they're just going to move Whale Wander to short, where he's a 4E48 at shortstop. And they need a new second baseman. And let's see who they're going to get to play second base. They could move Brookins to second. Could move Brookins to second and then move Evans to third and have Bergman come in and play first base. That's a possibility. There's also Lou Whitaker. I really didn't want to use him, but I guess we will. I guess we'll go ahead and put Whitaker at second base. He will hit in Trammell's spot. So Whitaker will play second base in the 7th inning. All right. So Whale Wander will move. The only two changes, Whale Wander will move from second base to short, and coming in to play second base and bat in the 4th position held by Trammell is Lou Whitaker. Okay, so there we have it. Make sure I got my lineups where it should be. Looks like they're there. Okay, so we have a 5-5 ball game, and Nate Snell will be your new pitcher for the Tigers. Those starting pitchers get no decisions because of it. So we go to the computer to bring in Nate Snell and get his replay numbers. Nate Snell did not pitch in Game 1. The only relief pitcher that did not pitch in Game 1 for the Tigers was Nate Snell. Snell is a -2. He's a -2 for a -4. Snell in the real world 1-2 with a 3.96 ERA. On the replay, he's pitched much worse. He's 0-2 with a 7.71 earned run average. So he is looking to turn it around. He's facing Bernansky, Laudner, and Lombardozzi. 2-7, and that is a strikeout. And I know it's a tie game, and there's no way in the world we can have extra inning games in both games of a doubleheader, right? That's just the odds on that are just too big. Here's Laudner. 4-9 is a walk. So a strikeout and a walk so far for Snell. Laudner, no threat to run. Here's Lombardozzi. (5-4), and that is a ground ball third base X. Third baseman Brookins is a 3E21. Chance to turn a double play. 3E21. 3 and a 16 is a G1, so he definitely has the opportunity for a double play. However, we got a 16 on the D6s. That could be trouble. But early on, a 3 and a 16 is a G1, but we're looking at E21 and a 16 at third base. And there you are, E21, there's a 16 right there. So not only do they not get the force play, not only do they not get the double play, they don't get anybody. It's an E5 on Brookins. So Brookins with the E5, it should have been an any double play, but they turn an E5 instead, and that really cost them. Now here's Mark Davidson. Snell's got to try to pitch around that error. 6-8, and it's a fly to right field. That's out number 2. Now he's got to get Newman to end the inning without any damage. This is a clutch situation for Newman. In the clutch, he gains a hit on 2-2 and on 3-10. So we've got a couple of positive clutch results. 4-7, switcher bang left is a 1-8 triple. That's a 16, so Snell gets away with it. It's a fly to center to end the inning as Lemon runs it down. And Snell pitches out of the mess. We go the 7th inning stretch. We are tied at 5 apiece. Portugal back out will face Herndon, Harper, and Lemon, your scheduled hitters. 2-5 for Herndon will be a leadoff walk. That will send up Mike Heath. Herndon, no threat to run, will not be held. 5-6, and that's another walk for Portugal. Back-to-back walks. Well, that'll make Tom Kelly upset. Back-to-back walks, and here's Harper. Terry Harper hit a home run, his 2-run homer his last time up. 1-7, he will strike out this time, though. 1 away, and that will send up Chet Lemon. .38 for Lemon, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases. So how about that? Mark Portugal has walked the bases loaded. And who's up but that guy, Jim Whalewander, again. He is singled and homered in this game. Portugal try to get out of it. They're playing for the double play to try to get out of the inning. 5-6, switch hitter bang left, and that is a strikeout for Portugal, a big one. Big strikeout there, 2 away. And it will be turned over to Tom Brookins to try to get out of this inning. Or try to get something out of the inning, I should say. Brookins in the clutch will lose 2 hits right here, 2-9 and 2-10. So he needs to avoid those 2 numbers for sure. That's a 1-8, and he grounds it to short, and the Tigers will leave him loaded. Bases loaded and 1 out and can't bring him home. Strikeout and a ground out ends the inning. So we go to the 8th inning, still tied at 5 apiece. Snell back out for his 2nd inning of work. He'll be facing Gladden, Puckett, and Gaetti for the Twins. Top of the 8th, tied at 5. 2-10, and that's going to be a 1-9 single. Anything else he lines to short. That'll be a liner right to Trammell. So they get the leadoff man, keep him off the bases. That's a good sign for the pitcher. If you can keep the leadoff guy from getting on base, especially a guy that can run like Gladden. Here's Puckett. He tripled his last time up. It's a 6-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. Harper is a 2E16. 2 and a 5. Might get to that. We'll see. 2 and a 5. He does get to it. But the E16 and the 8. E16, there is no 8. And so he makes the catch for out number 2. Terry Harper able to run it down. And that brings up Gaetti. Gary Gaetti. 4-7. That's a solid single, 2-out single for Gaetti. That'll take us over to Herbeck. Gaetti will be held because he has an asterisk by his name, but we're not going to try to steal, but he will be held. Here's Herbeck. 5-10. That's a ballpark single check. It's 1-2, and that's a 14, so he's going to fly to right field, and that will end the inning. So Snell pitches 2 shutout innings. He has a relief rating of 3, so he can keep going. And they need to have him keep going because they used so many bullpen pitchers in game 1. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and now Portugal will start his 3rd inning, and he has a 3 relief rating. So he's obviously still going to stay in there. He'll be facing Evans, Gibson, and Trammell here in the bottom of the 8th of a 5-5 tie. 5-5, and that's a strikeout for Portugal. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. Evans is out. Brings up Gibson. Gibson is 3 for 4, 2 singles and a double. 6-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Newman. 3 E12. 3 and 19 is good all day long. E12 and the 10, there's very few errors on 10s. And on 12 is definitely not an error. So it's 6-3 ground out. 2 down. And that will take us to Lou Whitaker for his first at bat since coming into the game. Whitaker on the replay. I'm sorry, it's Trammell, not Whitaker. My bad. No, it is Whitaker. I didn't make that move on the computer for some reason. I need to do that right now. So Whitaker in there for Trammell. So Whitaker on the replay is hitting 266, 12 homers, 37 driven in. He had 265 real world. It's a 2-4, and that is a 1 triple. Anything else is a double. So it's a 2-out double for Lou Whitaker. 2-out double for Whitaker. Now he's in scoring position with 2 outs for Larry Herndon. In the clutch, Herndon is completely neutral. Portugal trying to get out of the inning. 4-7. Won't do it. That's a single to center field. Whitaker possibly could score, although Puckett is a -4 in center. Don't forget that. That single did go to center field. So we'll see. Whitaker runs at a 15, not being held as a 16. 2 outs is an 18, but the -4 is a 14. So 1-14, he will score the go-ahead run. And he does. So it's RBI single off the bat of Larry Herndon. Gives the Tigers a 6-5 lead. And Willie Hernandez is loosing in the Tiger bullpen to possibly come in and go for a save in the 9th. Here's Mike Heath. And Herndon did not take second because he only runs at a 12. 1-8 for Heath, and that's a 1-4 home run, but that's a 10, so it's a fly to left to end the inning. But the run comes across. That'll do it for Portugal. He went 3 innings. And he is on the hook for the loss now. And we got Brunansky, Lombardozzi, and Davidson due up. They may, well, do you stay with Snell or not is the question. He went 2 innings, pitched pretty decently. But I think you got to go to your closer here in this situation. So Snell's going to go 2 innings, and they will bring in Hernandez. He couldn't get the save in the first game, but he's going to try to get it here in the second game. So Snell goes 2 innings, gives up 1 hit, a walk and a strikeout, no runs. And we go to the Strat computer to figure out what Portugal did. So yeah, Snell is showing tired per the Strat computer. So, all right. So let's make sure our defense is straight again. Whitaker is at second. With Whale Wander at short. And Willie Hernandez coming on to pitch. So we'll see what Portugal did in his 3 innings of work. Portugal in 3 innings gave up 5 hits and 2 runs. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. So Hernandez is on. Face Brunansky, Laudner, and Lombardozzi. And as we look at Hernandez on the replay, he's 0-0 with a save and now 11.57 ERA in just 2 innings of pitching. So he's very early on in his season, just coming back from injury. And we'll move this over here so we can see the 9th inning better. Hernandez will be facing Brunansky, Laudner, and Lombardozzi unless they want to go to a pinch hitter. We'll check at the pinch hitting, see if that's what they want to do or not. But we'll start out with Brunansky. 3-9 for Brunansky is a 1 for a single, but that's a 17, so it's a liner to short. 1 away. Laudner, not a very good average hitter, but he's got the pop, and that's what they need. So they're going to stick with Laudner because he's got plenty of chances for home runs, especially that column 2. It's really juicy against lefties. They're going to stick with Laudner. That's a 4-8, and that's a strikeout. So Hernandez 1 out away from getting the save and having the Tigers split this doubleheader. And it's up to Steve Lombardozzi, but he will not bat. They will pinch hit for Lombardozzi. He's only a .238 hitter, so they will not let him hit. They can either go to Roy Smalley. That's where they're going, Roy Smalley, switch hitter. And he hit .275 on the season. So we're going to pinch hit with Roy Smalley. He will pinch hit for Lombardozzi. If it goes extra innings, they will bring Gagnon to play short and move Newman to second. They're not going to have Smalley play short. He's a 4.27, so they really don't want to have him playing short. So we'll bring Smalley in on the computer, see how he's doing on the replay. 1 swing of the bat could tie this game, though, and send us to extra innings, which I'm sure everybody is dying to have again. So Smalley, again, 8 home runs in 309 at-bats, a .275 average. On the replays, hitting .271, 2 homers, 17 driven in. Hernandez to Smalley, switch hitter, batting right-handed. That's a 3-7, and he strikes out to end the ball game. Willie Hernandez closes the deal in Game 2, makes up for his blown save in Game 1. He gets the save in this one, and the Tigers walk away with a split. Losing pitcher is Portugal. Winning pitcher is Blake Snell, and the save goes to Hernandez, his second. So we go to the computer and get the final line score and put a wrap on this doubleheader. Let's see, both face lefties. So for the final line score for the Tigers, 6 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors. For the Twins, 5 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. Losing pitcher was Mark Portugal. He is now 2-6. Blake Snell gets his first win of the season. He is now 1-2. And Willie Hernandez picking up save number 2. Player of the game, could it be anybody other than Jim Whalewander? Jim Whalewander is your player of the game. He singled and had a 2-run single here and a solo shot there. So I don't know who else you could give it to. It's got to go to Whalewander. So Jim Whalewander is your player of the game. They split the doubleheader, so as far as the standings go, neither team gained any ground. We look now at the standings. Tigers with the split go to 26-21. But Milwaukee's in first place at 30-15, so they are 5 games back, 6 in the loss column. And so that's where they are there. Minnesota with the split is now 23-26. They're an exact tie with California for 4th place, 4.5 games in back of the Oakland A's. Next game tomorrow morning will be at Comiskey Park. It'll be the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox. White Sox are currently 2 games out as they are 23-21. They are 2 games behind Oakland in the West. Boston in last place at 18-30. If they win and go to 19-30, they'll tie Baltimore for last place. But right now they got last place on their own. Al Nipper against Joel Davis will be that pitching matchup tomorrow morning. So there you have it. 6-5, your final score. And a very long doubleheader, to say the least. Going for over 2 hours, obviously. We started actually about 3 hours now, almost 3 hours now. Pretty much 3 hours now. So I believe I started, it was right around 8:45. And now we're up around 20 minutes to 12. So just about 3 hours. So I know I need a respite after all of that. Hopefully you did enjoy that presentation of the real-life doubleheader between Minnesota and Detroit. Sans the computer issues I had earlier in game one and with the fuzziness, and then, of course, the having to restart here in game two, but after the first inning. But hopefully, aside from all that, everything was kosher. So I do appreciate you all spending part of your Wednesday morning with me. And it's time for me to get out of here before it gets to Wednesday afternoon. So, yeah, that's going to do it from here. I may or may not do a demolition game tonight. I didn't do one last night. I was kind of tired, so I didn't do one last night. I might do one tonight, possibly. If not, then tomorrow morning, of course, will be the Boston and White Sox game. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.